Realty on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
And welcome into the Tuesday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode. Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning. Hope everybody is doing well. We got a lot to get to on the program here today, and as always, we'll take your thoughts all show long. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you doing on this Tuesday morning? That well, huh?
Zoom is muted.
Good morning. I just want you to. But I want it known that I didn't try to speak until I had the mute.
I don't know when you let it go for 5 or 10 seconds, it may still count as a mute. We'll leave that one up for interpretation.
That's a dramatic pause.
Okay, good. How are you?
Great. How are you?
That's good. Doing well. Michelle, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great this morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. I went all day yesterday thinking it was Tuesday. Woke up thinking this morning was Wednesday, but it's okay. It's all right. Having a good morning so far.
There we go. Some NBA playoff action last night, Joe Rexrode. The 76ers go on the road with no Joel Embiid last night and win 119-115 on the road against Boston. So how about that last night from the 76ers without their best player getting the win on the road? And what a night for James Harden, 45 points, 17 of 30 from the field. He's chucking them up there last night.
Yeah, tough couple of nights for Boston, for sure, which is a shame because you know they haven't had too much luck with sports over the years. And I watched Rangers Devils, a bunch of Rangers fans last night. So man, that was not pretty. That was not pretty at all.
I am really in shock in the way that series closed out. Like, they were so much better than the Devils were the first 2 games of that series, and then you lose 4 of the next 5. Like, it just that's such. It's not going to go down this way because they weren't up 3-0 or 3-1 or anything like that, but I consider that to be quite the choke job by the New York Rangers in this series.
It's quite a collapse. Also, the goalie change. Schmidt is this young. Yeah, I mean, he was impressive, man. He's impressive. I will say that there is some enjoyment from watching Patrick Kane just sort of skate around ineffectively like an 8-year-old. But yeah, that team should be advancing.
The matchups in the second round of the playoffs are set. The Maple Leafs, who I believe are now the betting favorite to win the Stanley Cup, taking on the Florida Panthers in the second round. The Hurricanes and the Devils, with the Devils-Rangers series being closed out last night. And then the West, you have the Stars and the Kraken and the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers, which I'm very much looking forward to that series.
That's probably the main event here of this round, I would say. Should be really good.
Should be really good. So that gets rolling basically tonight. Florida and Toronto playing tonight, and then Seattle and Dallas tonight in the nightcap, and then tomorrow, Game 1 with New Jersey and Carolina, and Game 1 with Edmonton and Vegas on the road as well. Joe, we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about the Will Levis situation. We're going to get back into Will Levis at some point today here in the show as well. John Glennon joining the program at 8 o'clock, so looking forward to his thoughts on that. But the rest of the Titans draft yesterday, beyond the Will Levis part of this, and we went over the picks yesterday, but if you had to identify your favorite pick and your least favorite pick, where would you start? And let's start with the favorite for both of us, and Joe, you can kick us off there.
Can one be the same?
Sure.
Both things, because you know how I like to do that, right?
Yes, I do.
So, first of all, favorite. I think the best pick, the best player, is Peter Skoronski, and I think that everybody thought the Bears were going to take him, or possibly that he might go earlier. But to me, the classic favorite pick, but also, man, what are you doing? Is Tyjae Spears. If you watch, and I have more, since they picked him, I've watched a lot of stuff like him against USC and him in some of these other games. I mean, last year he was incredible. And the thing is, the Titans absolutely needed we have not talked about this. We talked about Will Levis, kind of the do-over for Malik Willis. All these offensive linemen, 4 offensive linemen in the last 4 years because the first 2 didn't work out. Roger McCreary last year, kind of like, well, Caleb Farley, you got to get another corner high. Well, Hassan Haskins, to me, this is a do-over for him. In theory, I mean, maybe Hassan Haskins comes out this year, second year, and really establishes himself, and then that could be the tandem moving forward, Haskins and Spears. But I kind of look at it like it just didn't, that didn't really take last year. And Julius Chestnut, I think, was better than him when he got opportunities last year. So they did need to get a back. They needed to get a third down back. Dontrell Hilliard has a neck injury. He was a huge part of the offense, like it or not, last year. They did find a way to use that other back effectively in the passing game. So I really, between that and the fact that he's so fun to watch, I like it a lot. And then I flip it around and say, like, that's where you take a receiver. That's where you take a receiver. And also the injury thing is, this doctor, you follow this doctor. Oh, shoot, what the heck is his name? Like, the doctor, is it David Chow? Is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I don't know. People get all over this guy because sometimes I think he just speculates about stuff, right? But he had a tweet about Tyjae Spears yesterday. Okay, so is this a fake one? This is the problem with Twitter now. I mean, I don't know what the heck. This looks, I don't know. Well, I was trying to go to Dr. David Chow right now because he basically had a tweet yesterday. I think it was the actual guy. I'll have to confirm that during the show because Twitter now, you have to investigate every tweet. But he basically said, like, he's going to have a very short career. And we've talked about that already. I suppose you could look at it like, well, if it times out the time of a first contract for a running back, that's what teams typically want to do, is first contract and then go to the next cheap running back. But obviously the injury and the need aspects of it kind of make it my least favorite. So that's a weird answer, but that's my answer, and I stand by it.
See, I hate that pick. I absolutely despise that pick, really, for 3 reasons. And one of them is what you just laid out with the injury. I mean, I feel like we're in, we're in, it's just deja vu over here of the Titans drafting somebody with a medical that is just, from some other accounts, absolutely awful. And you were talking about having short careers. I hate it from the standpoint of you could have had a wide receiver there and you went with a running back. And I also hate it from you went from a running back, as Corey Curtis brought up yesterday. It's probably going to be a third down back for you at best, and that's even if Derrick Henry isn't here. Like, if Derrick Henry, like, is this guy going to be your every down back if Derrick Henry is gone next year? Maybe, but I severely doubt it. I mean, I have nothing against Tyjae Spears personally, and like you said, he was really fun to watch at Tulane, and he absolutely lit up USC last year. So, I like that part of it, obviously, but there's so much about that pick that I just absolutely hate from the Titans standpoint.
I just love it and hate it.
You do love it and hate it. Yes, you do. I mean, I realize that, 3 wide receivers went off the board right before that pick if you're the Titans. And obviously 2 of them we talked a lot about in Hyatt and Tillman. But just going running back there, as soon as they made that pick, I said, what are they doing? Like, why are you going running back there in a spot where you clearly need a wide receiver? And I get it. It's going to be the board. That's what the board said to do. I have hated that pick from the moment it was turned in until we're discussing it right now. So congratulations to Tyjae Spears. He's going to turn out to be an all-pro.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that I do think that he could be more than a third down back.
He's awfully small to be more of a third down back, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he's not there's a huge difference between him and the current primary back, but he's not. It's not like he's tiny. He's what, 5? I don't have it in front of me.
I'll pull it up.
He's like 187, I think.
Is he? Okay? Yeah, I thought he was 195, but yeah. I mean, it's obviously. I mean, that's the pick that everybody was like, "What are you doing now?" The thing is, if you look at the receivers that, and TD talked about this yesterday, A.T. Perry and some of these guys, it was still like, okay, well, there's still some guys like that you thought were maybe right around third-round picks. Those guys didn't actually go until like the fifth, So some of the board after the pick kind of confirmed, that maybe, that the receivers would be a reach at that point. Although honestly, I don't know anything about Michael Wilson from Stanford, but he went shortly after that. But so I mean, it was kind of the board obviously didn't play in their favor. So I mean, obviously that's that 10 pick gap, and I do think that they probably do something different. Can't prove it. We'll never know. And if like Tillman, who I really think is going to be I'm confident in Tillman being a good NFL receiver. I mean, I just feel like he would have been the perfect pick for them as a young guy. Put him on the other side of Burks. You got too physical. You may not have the burner still at that point, but you have, you got two outside receivers that you can work with moving forward. But it didn't happen.
It is kind of amazing. Like I was thinking about this yesterday, and you brought up Hassan Haskins, right? I mean, let's think about the running backs that in like the last 4 years they've drafted. They drafted Darrington Evans in the third round. We know that didn't work out. You drafted Hassan Haskins in the fourth round, and now you drafted Spears in the third round. That's 3 picks on running backs. We know how many picks they've had on offensive linemen. I mean, we're going to have to start counting a long time, listing the picks they've had on offensive linemen. You've added another one in Skoronski now. And I'm not saying Skoronski was the wrong pick. I'm just saying between running back, offensive line, and even now like quarterback to a much lesser degree, going Willis last year and Levis this year, there's a whole lot of drafting the same position that the Titans have done over the course of the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, just way too many do-overs to get enough traction. Yeah, the offensive line thing is the most severe, but the Haskins thing, and it's not. I don't remember it really being discussed much during, over the weekend, But if he, and I know Haskins is more backup and maybe successor type of pick, right?
Yeah,
really not a third down back, but I mean, to me, it's like. I mean, again, last year he just didn't impress that much. Like you said, Darrington Evans was supposed to be what now Tyjae Spears is supposed to be. And I mean, for him, there wasn't really health concerns coming in, but obviously he couldn't stay healthy here. So it's way too much of that stuff. Even at corner, obviously, I mean, I feel like, you can kind of go with like, you can't have too many corners, but I don't know if Farley had worked out fine. I think second round pick last year is probably something different.
Yeah, 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We're off and running here on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on the Titans and the NFL draft. What was your favorite pick in the draft beyond the Will Levis part of this? And what was your least favorite pick in the draft as well? We'll continue that discussion coming up next. Mark, hang with us on our phone line. We'll get to you as well. Let me tell you about my friends at the Nashville Predators. Season tickets for the Preds 2023-24 season are on sale now. Preds will be celebrating their 25th anniversary throughout next season. Full half and quarter season plans are available, and you can join the Loyal Legion today and receive the best seat locations at the best pricing, up to 50% off discounts on concessions throughout the season, and up to 6 bonus tickets to select games in the 2023-24 season as well, plus priority access to the 2023 NHL Draft and awards, both of which are hosted here in Nashville coming up this summer. You can learn more at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Once again, that's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robby and Rexrode for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi.
Keep counting at those stop signs, Alex. Full stop and doesn't go until she counts to 5, McSweeney. Because you are a safe driver. And like most drivers who sign up for Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate for how and how much you drive, you could earn a discount for your good driving. So don't turn into an Alex rolling stop and goes whenever she wants, McSweeney. Because once an Alex full stop and doesn't go until she counts to 5, McSweeney, always an Alex full stop. Well, you know the rest. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or for all agents.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame and on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville.
Hey!
Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook too.
Good morning.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 1025 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. Let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Mark in Nashville. Mark, thanks for hanging with us. Good morning.
Yeah, how you doing, Robby? I got a couple of things. Hey, Joe. Got a couple of things to talk to y'all about. Hey, I'm gonna go to the Pinnacle Bank today. I got an appointment down there. I'm gonna see if I can borrow about $4 or $5 billion. I'm gonna buy the Titans. And I'm gonna tell you something, Joe. That was one of the worst drafts that for a first-time GM. And it's nothing against Rand Carthon personally or anything like that. I don't know the guy, but I'm listening to what y'all saying. I'm like Robby. I disagree with the running back. They should have took wide receivers, even if they had to move up or do whatever. They really didn't feel the need. They didn't need a running back. Not like that. It wasn't that crucial to get a running back, but they did need some wide receivers, some playmakers and stuff. Now, Levis, I think that was the best thing to happen to him, for him to fall like he did. Maybe that'll inspire him and motivate him to want to come in camp, prove some doubters wrong, and maybe be that guy after Tannehill leaves next year. But, Robby, I mean, do you agree? Was that a great draft? What grade would you and Joe give the Titans for that draft?
Well, Joe, you know how much I love draft grades. You want to start on that one?
Yes, I'll give it the grade that I give every single draft ever in the history of mankind. It's a C. I have no idea what the heck's going to happen with this stupid draft, so it's
Mark,
a C.
To me, to answer your question, I like the Skoronski pick, and really beyond that, I don't know. Like I don't like the Levis pick, but I have an open mind as to as to that working out for the Titans. Really, to me, that's what it's going to come down to, Mark. Like, when we look back in this draft 4 years from now, will we ask about Tyjae Spears? Maybe. Will we ask about, not taking a wide receiver to the 7th round? Maybe. But I think the draft at the end of the day is going to come down to how good or not good Will Levis is. That's basically, in my opinion, what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I agree with you on that right there, Robby. But, Joe, do you think I can get this loan today? I need like $4 billion. Maybe I can, let Robby be CEO, let you be GM. I may even hire.
Wow.
Hey, Joe. I may even hire Steelman and let him script me up some plays off PlayStation and Madden, and let him be my offensive coordinator. What do you think about that?
As long as he's also like the kid who runs out and grabs the tee and rolls around on the field and stuff, then I think that's fine.
Yes.
But
you keeping Vrabel?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep Vrabel, but we all probably would be fired with Sealman as the offensive coordinator at the end of the year. We probably all be fired for that. But hey, at least we had a run at it, right?
That's right. Mark, thanks for the call, buddy. Good to hear from you.
All right. See y'all later.
All right, Mark.
All right. Mark from Nashville on our phone line. I can just picture Jared right now running out to retrieve the tee after the kickoff. It's a beautiful sight.
And then getting to call the play. I think that'd be really nice. What is the Titans' valuation right now? Does he need 4 or 5 bill?
I don't know if he needs 4 or 5 bill. Maybe that loan becomes a little easier for Mark later today.
Yeah, I don't know. What did Washington just sell for?
6.
Yeah, they were
6. Yeah.
Denver was 4 or something.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'd love to look that up. Maybe, right?
Yeah,
might be all right, Mark. So the terrible draft, but to his point. So here's one thing I do think about this draft. I mean, going with the board, all that stuff,
right?
But also, I think need is more likely to be zeroed in on if you think you're really close.
Right.
So that's kind of how I read this draft too, is like they're looking at this like a multi-year solution, which isn't going to be fun to watch this year unless some things really break their way with guys on the current roster, or maybe something shakes free like Vrabel referred to the other day. But I like so, and if you think about it in a multi-year kind of way, then next year Spears could be very important, and next year Spears could be very important. Levis could be starting, and by then, between your cap space, which you will have a ton in the offseason, and your other next draft, you need to have obviously more at that position. It feels like they're kind of moving toward looking at 2024, which I know some people don't want to hear. Now, when you say that, it's like, then why are Tannehill and Henry still here? That's the frustrating thing, is like, if you're going to run it back with them, don't you try to give them the best situation possible? Tannehill has sat here the last 2 drafts. Watch him draft Willis. Watch him draft Levis. Watch him trade A.J. Brown. Watch him not draft a receiver. 2 straight drafts. Got to be awesome in his home watching these drafts.
Yeah, I'm sure he's having a great time watching these drafts come together, and we'll have a little bit more to say on that front at 7 o'clock, because I think it's a great question. Like, if that's what you're doing and Tannehill and Henry are coming back this year, then what exactly is going to be the chance that they have any success whatsoever? We'll get into that and more coming up at 7 o'clock here on the program. Josh from Cookeville on the text line says, the Spears pick felt like the days of old with drafting players who have been hurt and, quote, could be good. Caleb Farley is the most recent, and he was a first-round pick. I hope Spears can be a good contributor. I agree with Robby. We should have gone receiver there. Alex from Montreal says, these are all do-overs thanks to J-Rob's awful last few years. There's some Alex from Montreal on the text line.
And just remember, but, I have to save something for the rant. J-Rob, I don't think operated, in a bubble. I think A.J. Brown is one you can put all on him. So thank you to Pete from Adairville. He found this tweet. David J. Chow, that was my problem, pro football doctor. Again, a guy who I think had worked for a team previously. Now he basically just goes on Twitter and tweets about injuries.
Yep.
But this is what he says. Take it for what it's worth. On Spears, he says, now reports of full thickness cartilage loss, which is end-stage arthritis, which would explain why his knee is not unstable with his ACL tear. Arthritic knees with bone spurs are rarely unstable, can play in the NFL, but will have a very short career. That sounds promising.
Yeah. Well, look, obviously the two of us are not doctors, thank God, but that doesn't sound great when you start to look at the medical. Like, it was interesting. I heard, Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace talking about this yesterday too. Like, the guy played all last year. Like, Spears he played, he was available last year.
And he was amazing.
So all that's really good. Now, what does that mean as they move forward in the NFL? Like, if he doesn't have an ACL and there's no knee cartilage in there, like, what does this all mean for his health as they move forward? I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that question. I just know that here we are yet again talking about a risky medical pick with the Titans. And I know it's not a first-round pick, Joe, but it is a third-round pick. Like, it's not an insignificant value pick here that we're talking about risky medical history once again with the Titans.
So, has it been Vrabel all along?
Well, maybe.
He's the one who made J-Rob pick all the hurt guys.
It's like, wait, let me tell you this. That guy's hurt. Toughness. Let's get him.
We can fix him. I don't know. They said they believed. They listened to the medical people, and the medical people were confident. The same thing was said about Caleb Farley. Now with Caleb Farley, you can't predict ACL tears,
No.
but
you can predict the back.
You can, indeed. In fact, I don't even remind me exactly where Caleb Farley is right now, health wise. Like, he's a complete afterthought, but he is still on this roster.
Well, he's still on the roster. The recovery was going to be a several-month-long thing. I don't know specifically where he is right now, but I guess he's going to be ready by the time training camp comes around.
I want his exact condition right now, Robbie.
Well, ski a ticket.
6:27 in the morning. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll have more on the Titans draft coming up next. We'll also take a look around the league coming up and highlight a few of our favorite drafts around the league as well. All that ahead. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. Take me 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Attention buckaroos, it's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, traffic, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
O'Reilly Make your tires shine with Superior Coverall Tire Shine at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people can help you choose the right cleaning supplies for your vehicle. Finish any great detail job with Superior Coverall Tire Shine. Right now, get 2 bottles for just $18. See store for details. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Next up, straight talk from Doug.
Ever notice that saying no offense is offensive? Like, no offense, but you're overpaying for your wireless. See? Offensive.
That's the Straight Talk talking. Get unlimited plans as low as $35 a month from Straight Talk on America's most reliable 5G network. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com. On the $35 plan, first 10 gigabytes data at high speed, then 2G speeds. Refer to the latest terms at straighttalk.com. Based on most first place rankings, root metrics, second half 2022 assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Poyle. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls, coming up on June the 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs who support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes as well. You can sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Call TJ's team today to see why they are referred to so often. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, the NFL draft, on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. By the way, we've had a whole lot of participation on the text line the last few days and the phone line. We very much appreciate that. Keep them coming on the text line. Text line feeling themselves right now. Trevor from Waverly on the text line says, if you don't have an ACL, and you can't tear one. Forward thinking on behalf of the Titans. Joe from Maryland on the text line says, I figured it out. They're going to address the wide receiver room by moving Farley back to wide receiver. Boom. Fixed. This is from Joe from Maryland on the text line. Yeah, maybe so.
Well, seriously, you think of a 3-wide set of Burks, Farley, Tannehill, you know? I mean, that's some physicality. That's some speed.
Length.
Some experience. Yeah, some length. I mean,
Tannehill will block out there.
Tannehill's not afraid to throw the body around, man.
Oh, not at all. Oh, no, Tannehill, a big part of the run game.
Tannehill could be a good red zone target in all seriousness. Like, pretty good size to him. He'd be a good red zone target.
He could, but you know what? I'll throw a bubble to him too.
Yeah, let him go.
Just let him get it. Yeah, I mean, he can scoot, man. He can still scoot.
Titans are playing chess. We're all playing checkers. That's what we figured out here on the text line over the last few minutes. Oh, just beautiful stuff there on the text line. Ron says, do you guys think during the trade with the Cardinals that the Titans might have had a conversation about D-Hop? I think he'd be a good addition to this team, the leadership in the wide receiver room, and a player that doesn't drop balls. This is from Ron on the text line.
I mean, there's been a lot of D-Hop talk, and one of the reports when the Titans were clearly trying to go up and get C.J. Stroud was that was part of it. Now,
that was Mike Florio, yep.
Yeah, Rappaport quickly threw cold water just on the D-Hop part of it. So Rappaport basically confirmed the Stroud number 3 idea, but said, I think he basically said Hopkins would not be part of it, right? So we've been talking about D-Hop for a long time. Look, at this point, something like D-Hop or something like Corey Davis, I guess, who I don't think would come here, but like something like that, hey, sure, okay. Kenny freaking Galladay, that guy was amazing with the Lions a couple years ago. I don't know what the heck happened to him in New York, but I mean, at this point, something like that, I'll say, sure,
yeah,
better than nothing, but I look at DeAndre Hopkins and I just worry that it's another one of those stories of you get to 30, you get in the 30s and you have some injuries and you've had a PED thing, and you can see where it could come quickly for him, right? Where he's just kind of obsolete.
The interesting part about this, and I agree with everything you just said there, but the interesting part about this, like going back to, are they looking ahead more to 2024? Like we've talked all offseason about the fork in the road or the decisions that the Titans have to make when it comes to the draft and which direction are they going, all those things. And one thing that we've talked about a lot was, like, do you feel like Mike Vrabel has any interest in, like, a rebuild or a reset or whatever words you want to use whatsoever? And the general thinking on that has been no. And yet you look at this draft, taking Will Levis where they took him, just the way the receiving room looks right now. Like, it's hard for me to get to a place where this offense is going to be very competitive this year, even though they have fixed, or potentially fixed the offensive line. They've at least addressed it. I'm still looking at the wide receiver room right now, and it's like, well, if Tannehill and Henry are back, that's great. Who in the heck is Tannehill throwing the ball to right now? It's just still in a weird spot roster-wise where it comes to, like, okay, so are they looking ahead to 2024? Are they trying to be good here in 2023 while also looking ahead to 2024? Like, what exactly is going on here with the Titans?
Yeah. No, I agree. Really, what happened with the draft is they kind of – I asked Rand Carthon the fork in the road question. We've been talking about that forever. Which way you going? If you take the quarterback in the second round, then I think you're going more on the path of rebuilding. You're acknowledging that it's time for a new era. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like acknowledging it's time for a new era, and then your legendary back is back, and your starting quarterback who's still good is back. So, I guess you could look at it like the Chiefs of 2017, kind of the same idea. They took Mahomes, obviously much higher than the Titans took Levis. It could have been almost the exact same spot. The Titans took him at 11, right? But they were still good. They won the division, but obviously you can't have a better example of still being good, competitive, home playoff game, but new era is coming next year no matter what this guy does. The problem is that team was not limited as you just laid out, like this team on the offensive side of the ball, from what we know on paper. So I think it's more of a rebuild. And I guess one explanation for it is just that the market, and we talked about this too, it just wasn't there for Tannehill and Henry. I believe that there was at least discussions out there about Henry and about Tannehill. And we've had reporting on both things from very good NFL reporters. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But also it makes sense that, like, they couldn't find spots for him.
Well, also, like, timing-wise, and we talked about this at the time, and I think it's become even more evident as free agency has gone on. But, like, the timing-wise, like, if you were Rand Carthon coming into this job and your idea was, you know what, I still believe in Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. I think that we can win with those two, and I think that we can fix this offense in one offseason and get back to being competitive. And then you look at the free agent core and you're like, oh, my God, these wide receivers suck. Like, the timing of it just didn't work out at all whatsoever in terms of, like, if you wanted to have the quick fix, quote unquote, it was going to be really hard to do that with the wide receivers this year based on who was available in free agency.
Right. So we're like, well, the draft, oh my, how many receiver picks are we going to be seeing? 2 for sure. 3? Could it be 3?
Yeah. LD on the text line says Jarvis Landry is available. Cam also says the name I'm interested in is Jarvis Landry, a guy that has a ton of experience being wide receiver too. I don't know, man.
Yeah. There's another guy who I think the better days have been seen there, And again, like I'm not completely dismissing that because, okay, better days have been seen, still could be an upgrade here. I don't think it's a huge leap for a lot of different possible additions to be an upgrade here on this room, but I think Landry's another one of those guys who is on the wrong side of things.
Also, he apparently did not have the greatest relationship with Ryan Tannehill based on what he said after Tannehill was gone.
That's right. He did take some shots at Tannehill, didn't he?
Yeah. Now, if
that's water under the bridge.
Well, Will Levis is the starter. Maybe you don't have to worry about it if you're Jarvis Landry.
Fair point. Now what? But what if Tannehill has taken Landry's reps on the outside?
Well,
like they're both fine for slot reps.
That relationship could get worse. Ryan, we're gonna fight for our playing time here coming up. Yeah. I don't know. Like, to me, if you were gonna make a move, that's why I almost wonder, like, could they still be looking at a trade for a wide receiver? Like, if you're let's say, and we're gonna get more into the Tannehill discussion coming up, but let's just say you feel like if you're Vrabel and Carthon, you're looking at the roster by the time training camp comes around, You say, we need a wide receiver. Like, we've got to go get a wide receiver, whether it's Hopkins or whoever. Like, we know what the free agent pool is. There's not much that's out there. Like, could the Titans consider making a trade to go get somebody? And really, with the way that they've addressed the draft, and now that you know Will Levis is going to be your quarterback of the future, like, is it worth going to get a wide receiver this year and giving up the capital that it would take to go do that? I don't know.
It's a great question. It's just, again, it's like, and now if that happens, you're like, okay, so they are trying to win this year. I don't think they're trying to lose, but it would take something like that to think that it's not a multi-year thing, ultimately, when it comes down to it, each year, again, with Tannehill and Henry, it's like, I think that you should try to put better players on the football field this year, even if there's like some short-term fixing in there, just to try to be, competitive this year. And the AFC South is winnable this year. That's the thing.
Yeah.
How much does that matter? Certainly, this is still a downgrade, obviously, from a couple years ago when they're the number one seed. But is that not worth pursuing?
It's a great question. Sean on the text line says, thoughts on a possible trade for Judy or Sutton with Denver? Denver asking a first for Judy and a second for Sutton. If the price comes down, I'd be in on Sutton. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought Judy got extended.
I thought he did too. And like, Sean Payton has come out and said that they're not looking to trade either one of those guys. Now, he says that, and they've drafted, obviously in the last few years, they've got Sutton, they've got Jerry Jeudy, they drafted KJ Hamler, and they just took Marvin Mims Jr. in the second round out of Oklahoma, which was a wide receiver target that we had talked about here with the Titans as well. So, like, is somebody going to be in the move there? I don't know, but they did just draft Marvin Mims Jr. as well out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, and that is so. There is something to the idea of like teams that like upgraded or really address receiver. Bears being an example. TD brought this up on Caroline Willie D-Mace. Mooney. What about a guy like Mooney, who that now they got, of course, DJ Moore, Tyler Scott, who, by the way, there's a guy who, like, if your board was similar to Dane Brugler's, the Titans would have taken him instead of Tyjae Spears, where they took him. He did go all the way down at 133, but the Bears, in theory, there's a guy who, like, the team with, okay, maybe this is a guy they would be willing to move, and it wouldn't necessarily cost a lot. And I mean, look, he hasn't been all that impressive, but he does have some talent, and maybe there's something there to work with for Rob Moore.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on the Titans. Coming up next, we'll look ahead or look at the rest of the league, our winners and losers of draft weekend here in the NFL. We'll continue that discussion coming up next. Take more of your thoughts on our text line, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
The crowd is standing on its feet. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament, benefiting Souls for Souls, June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs.
See the ball.
Support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes. Sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at theGameNashville.com/golf.
Michelle Knesvik here for Superbook Sports. Baseball's back and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. We've got Lakers-Warriors tonight, so excited for this game. Warriors are a 4.5-point favorite. Lakers have had a couple days to rest after closing out the series in 6 games against Memphis. So I'm going to take the Lakers plus the 4.5. I'm also going to take the Lakers plus 165 on the money line today. But I think ultimately the Warriors are going to be the ones who are going to come out of this season. Also, I'm going to take the over 227.5. So I think that is pretty good value there. Superbook Sports is one of the best wagering apps around. It's my official sports book with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in Las Vegas. Plus, you can get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day. So don't let spring pass you by without winning some money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service, commercial, and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
This is R.A. Dickey, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Smoky Mountain Tops. When my wife Ann and I needed new countertops for our kitchen, we called Smoky Mountain Tops. We wanted to make sure that we worked with a company dedicated to quality, craftsmanship, and customer service. And that's what we got with Smoky Mountain Tops. Go with the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops for any of your surfacing countertop needs. Located in Knoxville and Nashville. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com.
Does this sound familiar? Did your agent provide excellent entertainment with their TikTok videos and constant social media posts about themselves while completely ignoring that you hired them to sell your home? Did they tell you how wonderful they were? How many followers they had? They probably never sold your home, but hey, they did get 15 likes on their selfies. Hashtag my clients love me. Don't let that happen to you. Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why the only likes we care about are our clients loving our service. Ask us about our prepay with TJ option and how it can save you thousands. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Office number 615-432-2919.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Bon appetit. Take some Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Some Preds.
Roman Yossi.
Even some hoops.
Light fires. Wow.
Put it in a blender. And what do you have? Chase and Michelle.
Pretty incredible.
Call or text and weigh in. The fastest 2 hours in sports radio. Weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tomorrow night at 6:35 on 94.9 The Fan. Sounds taking on the St. Paul Saints, the AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Joe, it's time for our winners and losers of draft weekend, which I feel like is your sneaky way of trying to get me to grade this draft. I feel like this is intentional by you, and I like it. Way to go. First mute of the day for Rexrode.
Yeah, thank you. That is first. Yeah, well, this is the other thing. I actually like these. I've always liked these better. You know, the winners and losers. Now, yeah, when like, someone does these, and so it's some teams, but then you'll have, like a player too, like a player who fell, or a player who went higher, or maybe like a particular GM or whatever, or a quarterback who got an incredible, like next year, whoever quarterbacks the team that drafts Marvin Harrison Jr., he'll be one of the draft winners.
Oh yeah,
right. Draft winners. Will Levis. Now he has Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to. For example. I'm just giving Titans fans something to get excited about.
Just look forward to it.
But I'm just thinking here, I guess really like class-wise, okay? Class-wise. I think we should almost, I think the Eagles should almost just be like, Stairway to Heaven and Freebird.
They're my number one winner. Yep. They're retired from this discussion.
Yeah, they're retired. Like everybody would rank the Eagles, which is ridiculous and unfair that the Eagles are number one, but they are. I mean, like it's just absurd to get Carter, Smith, Ringo in the fourth, and also, by the way, I mean, Tyler Steen.
Yeah.
That's by the way that's Vanderbilt should get some credit for that. Vanderbilt should get credit for Tyler Steen.
I agree.
He played most of his career at Vanderbilt. In the third round, so they've replenished themselves at. Sidney Brown's a good safety. So they're just like their D is going to be ridiculous. So apart from them, who's your favorite?
Pittsburgh. I really like what Pittsburgh did. You had Broderick Jones in the first round at 14 overall. Offensive tackle out of Georgia. We talked about him potentially being a fit for the Titans. Joey Porter Jr. in the second round, which when we saw that they were picking 32nd overall and Joey Porter Jr. fell out of the first round, I mean, you could take it to the bank that they were taking Joey Porter Jr., and they did. I like Keanu Benton, defensive tackle out of Wisconsin. I've watched him play a lot. He's really good. I like him in the second round as well. And then my guy Darnell Washington in round 3, pick 93 out of Georgia. I really like what Pittsburgh did in this draft.
Corey Trice is a guy who's been hurt, so I guess, you're going to sing the praises after we're complaining about the Titans taking guys with injury. But 7th-round pick who actually, he profiles, if he's healthy, as like a day 2 corner. So that also could be a really good value. So at the expense of sounding like a certain other personality on this station. Well, no, I'm thinking more like I don't want to, because I think I would probably be agreed with by someone at 2:00.
Oh boy!
But I got to go with the Colts, man. I mean, the Colts. So the one guy who I think is absolutely fantastic for the Colts, and I cannot say his name, but Northwestern's turning out some guys. Addy Adebawari, okay, defensive tackle out of Northwestern, goes 110 overall. I mean, Blake Freeland is a guy. I saw some people, and again, mock drafts take him for what they're worth, okay?
Right.
But I saw some people who thought he might sneak into the late first, but certainly could be a 2nd-round pick. They get him at 106, and I love Josh Downs, man. I love Josh Downs. Josh Downs is a fun player. There's another one of those guys who went during that run. It was Tillman, Hyatt, Downs, all boom, boom, boom. And, of course, the Colts are the team. Because I think it was Tillman and Hyatt first, right? So in the Titans draft room, in the Titans media draft room, she's like, okay, you're all paying attention, or else you can't tweet about the picks, everybody. Well, we're sitting there. I mean, we were all talking. It's like, okay, so it's got to be Downs. And then the Colts take Downs, like, oh, my. And, of course, Richardson. I mean, look, that's just like we talk about with Levis. That's ultimately going to determine the draft. But right now at this moment, hey, the ceiling's high. He could be incredible. So if he isn't and he flames out, then the whole thing changes. But right at this moment, I think that's the best non-Eagles draft. They got a lot of guys, too. I don't know much about tackle Jake Witt, but he's from Northern Michigan, so I'm going to give him a chance.
Yeah, give him a chance there. There was one pick in the 2nd round that really intrigued me just based on kind of where they took him. And, obviously, as we know, your boy Bryce Young, drafted by Carolina. They signed Adam Thielen this offseason to bring him in to be kind of like the veteran presence there. But the Panthers taking Jonathan Mingo in the 2nd round, where they took him pretty early. There was the early run on wide receivers, right? And the Jordan Addisons and the Quentin Johnstons and the Jackson Smith and Jigbas, they go in the 1st round. And I believe Mingo was the first wide receiver taken in the 2nd round by Carolina. And we've talked about him. Obviously, he went to Ole Miss. He's 6'2", 220. So, from a size perspective and where he went to school, a lot of people talking about A.J. Brown. And we had Nick Suss on last week who covered Jonathan Mingo at Ole Miss. He said, I don't know if he's A.J. Brown, but he could be pretty good at the NFL level. That pick was pretty intriguing to me. Obviously, you're giving Bryce Young a target there to come in there, but Mingo to come in, I guess, go alongside Thielen, who's kind of like the veteran there. I'm interested to see what Mingo does in his first year.
Yeah, that's interesting. Look, speaking of receivers, I mean, I love Seattle getting Jackson Smith and Jigba where they did.
Yep.
And I feel like, I mean, because to me, if you're an offense that already has really strong outside receivers, he is going to be a real problem for people. I still think that he is a slot receiver in this league, and I know that his versatility, some people thought, is why he should go higher. But to go to that situation, I really like that. That's going to be great for Geno Smith. My biggest, to me, my big, and I know this is cliche, but draft loser is the Detroit Lions. And look, Jahmyr Gibbs I like a lot, okay?
Yep.
Jack Campbell, inside linebacker at 18?
Hey, apparently he's really good. That's what I've been told.
I mean, yeah, sure, fine. But you're talking about a team that, I mean, they're supposed to be winning. You know, this is kind of like a need thing or whatever. I understand. Don't reach for need, okay? But like by any board that I know of, and certainly not by need, that's not your pick there. And to me, that's a first round pick. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs, a lot of people were mad at them for that. It is high for him. I like him a lot, so I won't knock him too much for that. But also, I just think Michael Mayer, and it's their choice, but they take Sam Laporta instead of taking Michael Mayer at tight end. I think Michael Mayer has a much higher ceiling than that. So I think the Lions screwed it up again. And I don't hate the Hendon Hooker pick. I mean, I think that's a great value for him. Talking about a guy people thought were going to go in the first round. But, you know, I just basically I don't like it because I feel bad for him that he's going to the Lions.
Yeah, well, like I said, I have some Lions fans that are still very mad at me after my comments the other night on Twitter where I just said, Hendon, I'm sorry. That's where you ended up. So sorry, Hendon.
I
even though the roster right now is not in bad shape for Atlanta. It's really not. Or excuse me, for Detroit. I'm looking up Atlanta right now.
The roster's not in bad shape?
No, they're the NFC North favorite, man.
Yeah, the Minnesota should be the NFC North favorite.
I'm just saying, the betting favorite is the Lions, man.
Good luck, all of you who are betting on them.
Yes, thank you very much. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on our phone and text lines. Coming next, we'll get back into the drafting of Will Levis by the Tennessee Titans. Should the Titans consider making him the starting quarterback this season? We will get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
All the big plays. All the big stories.
If you're not ready to play in this league, you will lose. I don't care who you're playing.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Because I love the sport.
We played the way we needed to.
Why would he make that move?
360 and he slams it home.
The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hi, this is Warren Moon, 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback and member of the Tennessee Titans Ring of Honor and Pro Football Hall of Fame. On the field, I always wore a helmet and pads to make sure I was protected. Life is no different. That's why I got vaccinated and boosted against COVID-19. Protection keeps you in the game. Talk to your doctor and get the information you need to make an informed choice. Gear up, Tennessee. Protect yourself and your family against COVID-19 today.
For more information, go to nflagearup.org/Tennessee.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Do you love sports, and are you passionate about helping local businesses and your community grow? Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and let me tell you, the best attributes of working with us on our sales team at 102.5 The Game include the ability to build relationships with local businesses, craft effective advertising campaigns, and the potential for high earnings. If you have excellent communication skills, think creatively, and have the drive to succeed, just shoot us an email with your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezvik. A busy night last night in the NBA playoffs. The Nuggets go up 2-0 on the Suns, winning 97-87. Jokic with 39 points and 16 rebounds. Headlining the Suns, Devin Booker with 35 points and 6 assists. And the 76ers take Game 1 against the Celtics. Joel Embiid did not play, but James Harden had a high of 45 points and 6 assists. The 76ers won 119-150. After only drafting one wide receiver in the NFL draft, Mike Vrabel spoke on Kyle Phillips and Racey McMath and what they can add to the team this year.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that'll be determined by the efforts they put in and Kyle's ability to come back and maintain some consistency that he had early on and through training camp. Racey knows that this is a critical point in his career, and he's got to continue to play and improve and be big and fast and help us and adjust to the football down the field and do some of the things that he did.
Coming up at 10:15 on Chase Michelle, Mike Vrabel will join the show. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 102.5-106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead. The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's
showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, where their advanced pay by TJ option can save you thousands when selling your home. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Tuesday morning. We'll have John Glennon from the Nashville Post coming up at 8 o'clock, so looking forward to that discussion with him, taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, the Titans draft Will Levis in the second round, 33 overall, and part of what we brought up yesterday is, what does this mean for the short term for the Titans? We know what it means for the long term. Will Levis is going to be, quote-unquote, the quarterback of the future, and we'll see how that goes, whether that works out for the Titans or whether it doesn't, and here in the next 3 or 4 years, you're back to square one looking for a quarterback. But what about next year? What about as the Titans prepare for the 2023 NFL season coming up? What does this mean for this group right now? And what does this mean specifically for Ryan Tannehill? Is it as simple as Will Levis is coming in and he's going to sit behind Tannehill for a year and then 2024 rolls along and Will Levis is the starting quarterback then? Or could the Titans actually consider going with Will Levis this year in 2023 to begin the 2023 season? And it's a really interesting question to think about, Joe, because as somebody brought up yesterday, it's not a first-round pick, so there's no fifth-year option on Will Levis. To me, I'm not sure that part of it really matters in terms of when you decide to play him. Like, if you played him right now just because there's no fifth-year option and you want to get as much information as you can with the 4 years, is that really serving him well? Like, is he really benefiting from that when it comes to his long-term future in the NFL? I don't know. But I do wonder, like, obviously, as we discussed yesterday, the Titans have been checking around on Ryan Tannehill and kind of gauging what the market could look like for Ryan Tannehill. And the only reason you're doing that, as Charles Robinson brought up last week with us, is if you think there's a chance that you could take a quarterback and that Tannehill could be on the move after that. Now, I still look around the league, Joe, and I say, okay, well, where exactly is Ryan Tannehill going to go via trade? And, people brought up Atlanta already on the text line today. We've had someone bring up Washington today. We had a suggestion on YouTube that the Titans trade Tannehill for Terry McLaurin straight up for Washington, which I don't think the Commanders would do. But, hey, maybe that's a route you could consider if you're the Titans. So
you got to make the call.
Got to make the call.
Make the call.
This is a really interesting situation that the Titans and Ryan Tannehill now find themselves in, Joe, as they prepare for the 2023 season.
Well, those are the two teams, the only two that I could come up with as I went through the quarterbacks. By the way,
San Francisco still interesting, but yes.
That's true. Yeah. Now, the latest information is that they think Purdy's going to be ready.
Yep.
I mean, Purdy's supposed to be ready in June and all that. And if that's the case, then they got Purdy. Right now they got Lance and they got Darnold.
Should be in good shape.
Yeah. So, which, by the way, at some point I want to see if you and the listeners agree with my ranking of quarterbacks. Okay. I did it really fast, but actually I think it's exactly right. But yeah, I just can't come up with anything else other than those two. Those are the two. Everybody else either has like a good starting quarterback, somebody they're invested in. Like right now, the Cardinals are invested in Kyler Murray.
Right.
But that may change. But everybody has someone they're invested in, or they have the young guy who's coming next. And those two teams also technically do. And those are my bottom two starters in the NFL in 2023, which is Desmond Ridder, and then I have to put Sam Howell last, and he right now is Washington's starter. If they don't have an appetite to go through all of that, do they think they're good enough otherwise to make a move and try to get Tannehill? I just would be surprised if Arthur Smith, as much as I think it would help them. I mean, I think Tannehill in that offense, they
that division.
That division, they added some good pieces. I think it could be good, but like, what are you then saying about Desmond Ridder? So much of that depends on what they actually think about him. It seems like they are behind him.
Well, it does seem that way, and even I was thinking about this yesterday too. If the Titans go the route of cutting Tannehill, which is the other option beyond trade. That if the Titans were committed, said, you know what, Will Levis is going to be our starter in 2023. We're starting it now. We're seeing what it looks like, and we're moving on from Ryan Tannehill. There's a very limited trade market out there, so a cut is the way they end up having to go. Like, I still look at him being cut, and I think to myself, okay, is anybody picking him up at that point to be the starter? I mean, he's a good starting quarterback. I think you and I would both agree there. Like, he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. But, like, with the quarterback situations around the rest of the league right now, even if the Titans cut Ryan Tannehill, like, is anybody picking him up to be their starting quarterback? Obviously, things can change when people get hurt, but, like, if everything is equal and everybody's healthy, like, is anybody right now picking him up to be their starting quarterback?
It's a great question. He is, according to me, the number 14 quarterback in the NFL right now. I put him right after Tua. Am I disrespecting Tannehill?
I don't think so.
It's one of those things that would get him doing one-arm push-ups just to think about being ranked behind Tua. And I put him just behind Trevor Lawrence too. That's a great question. I do feel like if he's out there, that's where, I mean, like, if you're Washington, now you don't even have to give anything up to get him.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Who else out there?
There's one team that's intriguing to me, and I don't think they would do it via trade. But if he got cut, I do wonder, like, could Belichick look around and be like, you know what? I don't know that I believe in Mac Jones. We can win with Tannehill. Like, especially in that division when you've got Allen, Tua, and now Rodgers coming in. Like, I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill is in the same discussion as Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, But like that's the one team that I think, there's all sorts of quarterback noise and rumors coming out of New England right now. If he were cut, could Belichick take a look at him?
Well, there was a lot of smoke going into the draft about everybody be ready because Belichick's about to make a move here that tells you what he thinks about Mac Jones. Didn't happen. Don't know if it was actually going to happen or if that was bad smoke. But yeah, that's an interesting one. No doubt. That's an interesting one. And certainly I would think, I personally would think that that you'd have a much better chance of winning switching from Mac Jones to Tannehill right now. Significantly. I don't know about much, but yeah, that's certainly an upgrade, right? By the way, I know you want to know. Mac Jones is my way down. I ranked Mac Jones after Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, love.
Bryce Young in top 10?
Mac Jones is my number 26 quarterback in the NFL right now. One spot after Justin Fields at 25.
Is Bryce Young just slightly behind Mahomes yet, or is he past him?
Yeah, he's only 24.
Okay.
You can't rank a rookie who hasn't played a snap any higher than 24. I actually ranked him behind Baker Mayfield.
Oh boy,
which is hard to do.
That's another interesting one. Like Tampa, they've got Kyle Trask and Mayfield. Like, could they take a look at Tannehill and be interested? Maybe, but like I kind of also feel like the other part of this that's interesting when it comes to like teams like that are kind of on the fringe with their quarterback is how much are they really looking to be competitive this year, and how much do they have maybe their eye toward 2024 in the draft there?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, just like we've talked about here, it's like, well, if Tannehill's your quarterback, you're going to be too good to have a good pick. And that's where Washington, to me, is absolutely the team who's like, Sam, let's see what we got with you, buddy. Let's just go put our best foot forward. And we're going to draft Caleb Williams first next year. Right. Aren't they every other, like, basically, like you said, New England could be that team also. But they're not going to be trash.
No.
They're going to be competitive, decent. So Washington seems like the absolute tank team. And I don't think they're going to be necessarily the only one, but there aren't that many other candidates out there that don't have now, like their quarterback designated. The Texans have designated their quarterback. The Colts have designated their quarterback for the future. So, so have the Titans. Unless the Titans are just going to do, okay, third round Willis, second round Levis, first round Williams.
Let's get after
Will. The triple Will approach. Yeah. It's just, it's not going to happen. So I think you're right. Washington's kind of like, boy, yeah, we're good, man. We're good this year. We'll stick out an awful year and go get Caleb Williams.
Well, and the other part of this discussion is, would it actually make sense for the Titans to consider starting Will Levis in 2023? Because to me, like, in order to make this move with Tannehill, that's the conclusion that you've got to come to, and we'll get into that coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman & Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Paid actor, not a real customer. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 44-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Welcome to Ethos, a new kind of insurance company that believes life insurance should be hassle-free, affordable, and accessible for everyone.
For around $1 a day, I got a 20-year, $250,000 term life insurance policy without a medical exam. All I had to do was answer a few health questions and snap, family protected. It was quick and easy. Ethos is 100% online. I got a quote in seconds, applied in minutes, and got coverage in hours. Just answer a few health questions. No medical exam, no blood tests, no hassle. Look, nobody wants to plan for the unthinkable, but it would be so much worse to not plan at all. So don't put it off. It feels great having the peace of mind knowing that my family is protected.
Ethos, the 100% online hassle-free way to get affordable life insurance. Don't wait. Get your free online quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What are you doing with Will Levis with Ryan Tannehill, 35 years old in the final year of his
career? Yeah, I think both the quarterbacks we just talked about, Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, it would behoove them to sit back behind a veteran, to get their feet wet. Don't force them in too early and let them learn, because both of them have tremendous ability. But I think him behind Tannehill, give him an opportunity to maybe learn decision-making, because that's an issue with him.
That was Rick Spielman, former NFL general manager, on the CBS Sports podcast discussing Tannehill and Levis. Said it would behoove Levis to sit behind Tannehill and learn at the NFL level for a year. Taking your thoughts on that, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So, Joe Rexrode, we've talked about the Tannehill side of this. Like, if the Titans decide to move on, what's the trade market look like? If he's cut, are there landing spots for him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? What about it from the Levis point of view? Like, if you're the Titans and you just took him in the second round and you watched him play at Kentucky at college, you know the physical traits that he brings to the table. We've talked about the S2 score that was high with Will Levis. How much are you considering him being the starting quarterback in 2023 if you're the Tennessee Titans, Joe Rexrode?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the realistic conversations here, because there are unrealistic conversations out there, which even let's go back to Malik Willis last year. Malik should be the starter over Tannehill right now. You know, he made 2 good throws in a preseason game. I see some people out there saying, you know, Levis could do what Tannehill does. We all need to agree before we even have this conversation. Will Levis, right at this moment, is way behind Ryan Tannehill and would be much, much worse as a rookie than Ryan Tannehill would be this year, as long as Tannehill's healthy. Can we all agree on that?
Agreed.
If anybody on the text line wants to disagree, you know, then I'll shame you. By the way, speaking of the text line, is Ryan's burner Ricky? Ricky just said, did you say Fields was 25? You would want RT over Fields? Oh, my God, come on now. I'm ranking them right at this moment. given their ages and everything. I mean, that's a different discussion, but ranking the quarterbacks, yeah. Ryan Tannehill is much ahead of Justin Fields. Please stop Ryan from Chicago's burner.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be either.
You've been outed, Ricky. But no, look, I personally think there's a lot of value in Will Levis sitting. I understand, like LD brought up yesterday, you get more value. You don't have the fifth-year option. To me, it's about him being ready to start next year. There are some – look, it appears the Colts are just going to throw Anthony Richardson out there. Just get out there, Anthony. Have all the – and you know what? The Colts have that history of Peyton Manning threw 31 picks as a rookie, and he was fine. So I guess you could say there's two trains of thought on that. Go out there, take all the lumps, make all the mistakes, learn from it, get better from it. You're not going to get better in any other way more quickly than being on the field. Yep. That's one train of thought. The other train of thought is confidence is a very fragile and critical thing in sports, and you'd like your quarterback to be as prepared as possible before he goes out there on Sundays against these defenses. And I think Malik Willis last year is an example of, I don't know how much benefit there is to, going out there, the Titans having to strip down their offense and kind of exposing how far behind he is. So I personally think a redshirt year, if you can do it, is always good. And I think Levis should have that this year.
This is a really interesting test here for the Titans because, as you said, Joe, there are teams that have very differing philosophies on this. And look, there are different quarterback situations, right? Like we talk about Mahomes. They had Alex Smith, so they had the luxury of saying Alex Smith is our starter. Mahomes will sit behind him for a year, and then we'll go with Mahomes after that. Obviously Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers and then Jordan Love. You're sitting Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre for 3 years. Love sat behind Rodgers for 3 years. Like, we've seen these things happen in the NFL. Like, this is really the first kind of test case study here for Mike Vrabel as a head coach as to how he's going to handle this. Because, like, even the Willis situation last year, there was never any realistic scenario that Malik Willis was going to be the starter last year. They took a flyer on him in the third round. We knew from the moment he got drafted that he was a project that they were going to have to work with and hopefully develop, and maybe at some point he could be the starter for the Titans. And we talked about even after he got drafted, could that be in 2023? Well, it became pretty clear that he was a long way off, and that wasn't going to be the case, all these different things. Like, it's not the same situation with Levis. Levis played in the SEC. He played in an offense that is similar to how the Titans run their offense. He's got physical tools that are NFL ready. And now the question is, when you complete the whole picture, like, is Will Levis ready to go? This is going to be an interesting case study as to how Mike Vrabel and Randy Carthon view that. I'm with you. Like, if it were me, I would have him sit and I would have him learn behind Tannehill for a year, and hopefully that would mean that he's ready to go in 2024 and be your starter at that point. Will the Titans view it that way? I don't know. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how they view that. And if they do view it the same way, like, what does that mean for this year's team with Tannehill and Henry still being here with not much help at wide receiver? You got a good defense. Like, what does it all mean when you factor it together? I'm really interested to see what Mike Vrabel's approach to that is going to be.
And I think with Vrabel, maybe last year, and look, I understand Logan Woodside is not knocking down any doors to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But, I mean, I was poo-pooing, just like John Robinson being fired. Come on. But I was poo-pooing the idea of Willis even being QB2 last year because watching him in camp is like, nah, that's not. And then they did. I'm like, okay. And I think it was a mistake. I mean, I think we'll see. We'll see how Willis responds, and maybe it doesn't matter at all, But he just wasn't ready to be on the field. Yes, Levis, and that's the argument for the pro play him now people is, like you just said, the scheme. So he's a lot more ready. So that's part of why the Titans are after. The Titans didn't. Yes, the scheme translation's great, and you could look at it and say they took Willis last year. That scheme does not translate well, and that's a totally look to the sideline, read half the field stuff, right? So the freeze offense. So this year they go the other way and they take a better scheme fit, right? And that's fine. But that doesn't mean they're doing it just so he can play this year. I mean, to me, what it means is now you have a QB2 this year who, if Tannehill does get hurt again, you actually could run your offense. That's fine. I mean, Levis should be a capable QB2 this year, and that's a good thing. That's an upgrade at QB2. Last year, that was one of their weakest points of their team, and it cost them. But and so far on the text line, people seem to agree. It's like the idea of starting him this year. And here's another thing. Like, if you're Mike Vrabel and you've lost 7 straight games and your owner has fired your previous GM partner, just kind of like snap the fingers and he's gone mid-season, you feeling good about a rookie quarterback in a 5-12 season?
I mean, probably not, but then why don't you go draft some wide receivers? You know what I mean? Like, that's fair. That's fair. But if you play Tannehill and you have Henry, even with the receiver situation, I mean, granted, you're going to need some, you're going to need my new receiver project, Racing McMath, to come through for you. But with this defense, depending on the offensive line, you're not gonna be bad, right? I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna be bad. I think you're gonna be decent. Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Adam in Portland. Adam, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, man, I think you're going to be decent too. And you know what? I've been looking at it like, I think they want to win now. I don't think Levis is going to play. I think it's going to be Tannehill because he's still like relatively cheap, and you've already got him under contract. They both said that, so I think they want to win now. I don't think they didn't make any like crazy bold moves. They made like safe moves to barely improve an offense. Nothing crazy. And I like the move, so I feel like if they wanted to tank or if they wanted to take a big risk, they could have easily cut Tannehill and kept Dobbs for, veteran minimum or whatever the hell that was, because everybody would have been on board with it. He played just as well as Tannehill the last 2 games. But I think they actually are going to try, because, I mean, it's just us in Jacksonville right now is what it feels like. So I think they're going to try to go for it again this year.
Thanks for the call, Adam. I mean, look, do they want to win this year? I'm sure that they do. Are they equipped to do so? Like, that's going to be the question. Like, the offensive line has been addressed. Now, has it been properly addressed? That's a different question. We're going to begin to find out the answer to that as training camp rolls around. I feel good about their defense. Now, they also, Joe, as you know, they didn't add any part to their defense in the draft, and they have guys on their defense, specifically at corner, who have been hurt a lot. Now, how can they stay healthy this year? Because if they can't, all of a sudden you look at the depth there and you're like, man, I don't know. I don't know if they're in a good spot there. You just lost Bud Dupree. You brought in Arden Key. Harold Landry's coming off the ACL. You get one injury there, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. I mean, the defense, I feel good about if everybody stays healthy. But staying healthy is going to be really hard, and it's proven to be really difficult for this defense over the past couple of years.
Right. I mean, sure. I mean, there's plenty of reasons that they could be, more in the 7-8 win range and the 9-10 win range, but I think it's somewhere in that. Somehow they find a way, and that's part of that is Vrabel. Vrabel has obviously been very good in the last couple of years at throwing in this guy, throwing in that guy, finding a way, coming up with some plan to somehow like lock down Kansas City on a primetime game on the road, et cetera,
Yep.
Like 7-10. If they're not in the 7-10 range with Tannehill starting, then I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if it's lower or higher than that. But yeah, you're right. There's plenty of what if that could still go the wrong way. I feel like there's a lot of assumption about health being better this year. Maybe it won't be. Dennis asked if Tannehill has lingering effects on the ankle. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think that would be. I think that's just one of those things where you keep playing on it and you're never going to get totally healthy, but I would think he'd be fine.
I think he'll be fine. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll take more of your thoughts on the Titans. Should they actually consider making Will Levis the starter in 2023? We'll continue that discussion coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, this is Phil with Forsberg. And this is Smashville.
Forsberg a shot, broken up in front, give it back to Forsberg, and here come the Habs.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Celebrating mothers everywhere, Electronic Express has what you need to make this the best Mother's Day yet. Spoil mom with brands like Samsung, Sony, LG, Breville, Jura, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. 4K TVs, computers, housewares, smart home, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 3 years free financing. Shop in-store or online. Get more for mom at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say culture eats strategy for lunch, because we can strategize all we want, but unless you have the right culture and chemistry in the dealership, it will not work.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. For more than 75 years, we've been transforming lives by helping working adults like you expand their skills, move up, or start a new career. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply to UMGC by May 31st. We'll waive your application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses for more than 125 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates. Take advantage of faster onboarding, success coaches, lifetime career services, and more. Achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get moving forward. No application fee through May 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate by Chev.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Today, your Nashville Sounds hit the road for a late morning start in St. Paul.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 10:50.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Rick Stockstill, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Got Mother's Day coming up, and we're here for you here on Robby and Rexrode. We have your opportunity to win a Moment's Peace $100 gift card and to be qualified to win a $1,000 Genesis Diamonds gift card and a pair of tickets to see the Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena coming up on May 26th. All you have to do is be the first person to answer this trivia question on our text line. Remember, do not call. It is on the text line. And the question is this. Will Levis was at Penn State before he came to Kentucky. What was the name of the quarterback that beat him out for the starting job at Penn State? What was the name of the quarterback that beat him out for the starting job at Penn State? If you know the answer, hit up our text line, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. The first person to correctly guess the answer will win a Moment's Peace $100 gift card and will be qualified to win a $1,000 Genesis Diamonds gift card and a pair of tickets to see the Dave Matthews Band coming up at Bridgestone Arena on May 26th. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. Throwing the question out there, should the Titans actually consider making Will Levis the starting quarterback in 2023? Brandy on the text line says, Titans fans already don't like him. If they throw him and he crashes and burns, the fans will always hate him. This from Brandy on the text line. Chris on Twitter says, I'm all in on a post 6-1 designation for Tannehill's released, talking about June 1st, and starting Levis or Willis all year so that we'll have a chance to draft Williams or May. So Chris already looking ahead to the 2024 quarterback draft and saying, all right, well, Levis, move aside. We'll take Caleb Williams or Drake May.
The old Fink coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, look, anything's possible. I don't think Vrabel and Carthon are going to be on board with that. I mean, you just drafted Will Levis.
Yeah.
I think that we can rule out quarterback next year. I think. I mean, maybe if Levis plays this year and it looks like it did with Willis last year, then maybe just keep drafting quarterbacks, man. But I think at some point you have to draft other things.
Alex from Montreal says, let's be real, the Titans are not competing for the Super Bowl this year. You might as well start all the young guys and get some trade assets if you can. As it stands, the Titans don't have that many picks next year. This from Alex from Montreal on the text line. So going with the you're not going to compete for a Super Bowl route this year, let's get rid of Tannehill. And I wonder if Derrick Henry is like, to me, if you're getting rid of Tannehill, why are you keeping Derrick Henry?
Well, yeah, just because. I mean, Tannehill, we've already talked about the difficulty of moving him and the limited market. But that's still a much better market than Henry's market, right? I mean,
Yes.
Granted, I'm sure somebody out there would be like, sure, here's a fifth, okay? But even that team is taking on a running back who, granted, he's different than other people, but he's old for a running back. His workload and his production has been very much tied to workload. He is a volume back, and he has a huge number for a running back. So, that's why the market is not there for him. So, but yeah, I mean, if you did that, then you could thank for Marv. I mean, to me, it's Marv. Marv is the
Starving
guy.
for
That's
Marvin.
why the culture's starving for Marvin. That's why the Colts are starting Anthony Richardson this year from the start, so they can go 3-14 and get Marvin Harrison Jr. and have all the Harrisons.
Yeah, because the somebody named Harrison in a Colts jersey has not caused enough torment for the Titans, so let's just add another one to it. Be good.
Exactly.
Caleb from Gallatin with an interesting question on the text line. What happens if Malik Willis comes into camp and just balls out and looks like he has starter potential? I know that's very unlikely, but what do you think the Titans would do if that were to happen? This is from Caleb from Gallatin on the text line.
Yeah, well, I wrote about that yesterday along with my absolutely perfect ranking of quarterbacks in the NFL. Just thinking back to last year, I remember Kaharski's headline, and we all wrote some form of this, which is, okay, well, here we go. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback this year, but in 2023, that is set up for Malik Willis to come in and potentially actually compete with Tannehill for the starting job, which we all laugh at now, right?
Yeah.
What if Willis shows up this week? I think they show up Thursday, and he just blows everybody away. Mastery of the offense, the footwork is perfect, and its accuracy all the time. He has a big arm. His arm talent is absolutely there. He has athleticism. What if he's just a totally transformed player? Well, I mean, I think the Titans have already moved on. I mean, they've moved on. They're on to Levis, but I'm just saying, we just don't know how things are going to go. And then the other side of that, of course, is I do think Tannehill will start this year. I really don't think that there's a strong consideration to do anything else at this point. What if he's incredible?
Well, I mean, he could be as good as he wants to be, and in my opinion, short of a Super Bowl, you drafted Will Levis. Will Levis is going to be the guy in 2024.
What if he wins a playoff game? They lose a close game and Tannehill plays amazing after winning one playoff game.
Will Levis is the guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's 35 years old. Will Levis is going to be the guy. You just draft him in the second round.
35 years old, it's like a baby in a high chair to Tom Brady.
Yeah, for Brady and Rodgers, it is. I don't know if I put Tannehill in that category.
Hey, listen, it's easy to say now, but if we go through this whole season where Tannehill is looking like 2020 Tannehill, I'm just saying.
Well, I'll say this.
You just don't know what's going to happen in
If
sports.
he goes through this season and he looks like 2020 Tannehill, maybe you ought to consider it, because right now I'm looking around at the weapons that he has and wondering how he's going to complete a forward pass this year in the NFL.
Maybe a lot of self passes.
Well, could be. I just, I think that the Titans have declared themselves here as to the way they're going. Like, Will Levis is going to be their guy as they move forward. The Willis part of it's interesting. Like, everybody, you would be hard pressed to find anybody that believes that Malik Willis is going to be a starting quarterback at the NFL. But it is interesting to think about, like, what happens if he comes in and he is significantly better? Like, even for backup, right? Like, is there a scenario where Tannehill could be the starter, Malik Willis could be the backup, and Will Levis is third string this year? It'd be hard for me to see, but, they're going to let him compete coming up in training camp.
Vrabel said it. Tannehill's 1, Willis 2, Levis 3. So, let's see. Look, just saying, we always want to not have an open mind and think we know how things are going to go. I was sure last year that at this point we'd be talking about this spring, let's see, is Willis really ready to try to take that job from Tannehill? And right now we'd all laugh at that.
Michelle, do we have a winner on the text line? I see a lot of correct guesses. I just don't know if we have a winner.
I did not send it out yet because my text line is loading, but we will have one momentarily.
By the way, the answer was Sean Clifford as to who beat out Will Levis as the starting quarterback with Penn State. Sean Clifford, now Green Bay Packer.
So I was just going to say, who's about to beat out Jordan Love as the starting quarterback in Green Bay and be your guy. So there you go.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on that front. By the way, they got to make a decision today if they're picking up Jordan Love's fifth-year option. And there's some consideration.
Why wouldn't they?
The GM said it's a lot of money for a guy who hadn't played. That was his direct quote yesterday. Or Saturday.
Okay. Well, they must love Sean Clifford. Okay. All right.
Sean Clifford, QB of the future. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it is time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. We'll have John Glennon at 8 o'clock, so looking forward to that discussion as well. All that coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national
Hey. I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game?
I'm odd, so I get the odd picks.
They have a new coaching staff.
It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
The NBA playoffs are here, folks. You may have noticed. And right now, you can turn crossovers into cash with FanDuel. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com/Joe102 right now. Place a $5 bet. You get an instant $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel, a lot of reasons to love it. It's easy to use. That's one of my number one reasons. You got great promotions every day. It's safe and secure. You get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's number one sports book. If I was offering some advice on a bet right now for this 5 for 150, I like the Lakers to cover tonight. I think to win outright. I think Golden State has got to be tapped out after the stirring win over the Kings in Game 7 Sunday. I know they're at home tonight, but I would go with that. I think the Warriors are winning the series, but I think the Lakers jump on them tonight. Go to FanDuel.com/Joe102. Sign up, $150 in bonus bets when you bet your first $5. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Imagine her delight when she unwraps a luxurious spa day from A Moment's Peace, the newly remodeled day spa and salon in Cool Springs. Time is running short, but whether you spend a little or go lavish, you can take comfort that your gift will be treasured, your love on display and a smile on her face. Give affordable luxury from A Moment's Peace for mums, dads and grads in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall at the intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakersbridge Avenue. Call 224-0770 or click online anytime at amomentspeace.com.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with Moorbark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about Moorbark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. May 25th, 26th, and 27th at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Performing with the Nashville Symphony. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss the Beach Boys live with the Nashville Symphony.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
They talk sports.
The Predators get the 2 points, which is obviously what they needed.
They're not making big moves that are jaw-dropping signings in free agency.
They talk life.
Well, I almost just fell down the stairs, so there's that.
My backpack was so heavy, the seatbelt alarm was going off the entire trip.
But most of all, they have a good time.
Here or there.
Yeah.
Chase and Michelle, weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The time is now for the Rex Rant.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
On Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You know, obviously they made some plays. We had a hard time staying in front of them at the end of the day. I'm just sick and tired of our guys getting smashed down there. Smashed! We'll get ready to play Tennessee. We were incredibly outmanned at the end. Had 4 guys on the bench in foul trouble. Joke!
Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl joining us.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode here on the program. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on Robby and Rexrode. Joe Rexrode, the floor is yours. I turn things over to you.
Bruce Pearl appears to have recovered by making sure a whole bunch of money goes somewhere toward a former Vanderbilt basketball player to come play at Auburn.
Yes.
Bruce will be okay. Bruce figures it out.
He'll be fine.
Okay, before I get into this, I do have to read this text from Liam on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Okay?
Okay.
And then and my rant is about Titans fan reaction, so this kind of goes along with the theme. So here's Liam. Quote, 90 years ago today, a couple from Inverness, Scotland returned home from a day trip to a local lake, claiming to have seen an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface. The imagination of the world caught fire, and the search for the Loch Ness Monster continues to this day. Despite millions of dollars in high-tech tools, there is no concrete evidence that Nessie is real or that the Titans will ever successfully figure out the wide receiver position, end quote.
Well done, Liam.
Outstanding, Liam. They did have A.J. Brown, but outstanding. So today, I want to talk about something. There's a lot of, I think today is a great example. We're talking about the whole Levis start, cut Tannehill. Like, I don't really think that that's a strong consideration in the building. I don't think it should happen. I don't think it will happen. But it's a discussion. I mean, it's worth a discussion. Here's something that's not worth a discussion. I've seen way too much of it, like way too much of it. And like, I get it. Like, you have a new GM. And so you immediately, you're looking at the GM. He's a general manager, Rand Carthon. He is in charge of acquiring players. But what I have been stunned by is how many people who seem to think like he just come in the building and said, Vrabel, get me a coffee. I'll tell you who your player's going to be right now, buddy. You sit there and shut up. It's amazing. Amazing. So, and again, like sometimes it's like, okay, is this person serious or is this person trolling you? But I don't think this person is trolling. This person is a regular commenter, okay, on my stories at The Athletic. So I'm going to read a little bit of Michael S. Okay. Basically saying like Rand Carthon, he starts with he's going to be a bad GM, awful answers to the presser. Look, there's some fair criticism of some of the stuff Carthon said at the presser for sure. All this stuff, should have gotten Jackson Smith and Jigman, all this stuff. And someone then a comment said he was chosen because Vrabel can control him. And I said, that's silly. Vrabel's was gonna have a stronger voice, but they're gonna work together and all this stuff. So this is what Michael S says. Okay, did you see Vrabel's reaction after drafting Will Levis? You think that's a reaction of a coach who just thinks they got their guy? Did you see his reaction last year after A.J. Brown got traded? Do you think that's a reaction of someone who is heavily influencing decisions? I don't know how you get paid to write for the team and have these opinions. It's wild. If you actually believe Vrabel is heavily influencing these choices, he's doing an awful job at drafting a team, but they need to start relieving him of those duties. There's 0% chance you can get me to believe a head coach is okay with drafting the same positions year after year and taking risks on injured players. Dude, like, what? Yeah, Mike Vrabel, look, I personally think that if there, and maybe there was this weekend, if there was there will be in the future, at some point, of course, there's going to be Rand Carthon thinks this, they got to go here, you're on the clock, and Vrabel's like, no, we got to go here, you're on the clock. Okay, Vrabel wins. I think that's the reality of the Titans.
Agreed.
But my God, even if you don't believe that, if you believe whatever, that Rand will have final say, or you believe that it's just 50-50 and they're just going to like do paper, rock, scissors and go, you can't possibly tell me you think that Vrabel is just divorced from this process. Yes, A.J. Brown, for sure. We can all agree on that. He wasn't happy about that. I mean, I think that's part of Vrabel having more say, and that's part of the collaboration talk over and over and over again. It's a huge mistake by John Robinson, a huge panic move, devastating move for the Titans.
Yes.
Okay. That's one example. Go back through all the other years, and I've heard different things on guys Vrabel liked more than Robinson, who they picked, by the way. I think Robinson absolutely gave Vrabel some leeway at times to be like, okay, who's your guy? He's the coach of the team. If you're a GM in this league who doesn't at least seriously take the input of your head coach, go away. You have no chance. I mean, the coach is coaching the players. So even if you're a GM who has final say clearly, like Robinson did, you have to take the input of the coach. And I think in some cases you have to let the coach, okay, I like this guy better. You know what, Mike? You think that strongly about Isaiah Wilson? Let's take Isaiah Wilson. I mean, the idea now that this is like Rand just coming in the building and just get out of the way. I mean, it's just incredible.
Well,
Mike Vrabel, Levis is on Carthon and Vrabel. This draft is on Carthon and Vrabel. And a lot of the picks and mistakes that have already happened till now, you cannot at all tell me that Vrabel was sitting there like, please don't do it, John. No! Caleb Farley, no! And then Robinson's like, yeah, shut up. We're taking Caleb Farley. Hey, come on, guys.
Well, I don't know how, as you watch, let's just take a look at what's unfolded here. So John Robinson gets fired, and Mike Vrabel doesn't. He's hanging around. He's still the head coach of the team. And throughout the process of looking for the next general manager, Vrabel talks about being involved in that search. So Mike Vrabel is helping the Titans find out who their next general manager is going to be. And your idea from that is he walk away from it with no power and no say-so into the roster decisions after that? Like, I can't follow the logic there. I think we all know that Vrabel has as much say as anybody on the way that this roster is being constructed, and as much say as anybody on the selections that they're making. Now, is it – I would also say the other way. Like, is it 100% what Mike Vrabel thinks and Rand Carthon is just GM in name only and he's over there off to the side? No, I don't believe that either. They're trying to make this a collaborative process, but this is absolutely – and I said this Monday. I said this yesterday. Like, Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon have now tied themselves to Will Levis, and we can think about that whatever we want to think, but that's the fact of the matter. Like, if Will Levis works out and he's the quarterback of the future for the Titans and he's one of these guys that you can build around, then obviously Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon might be here for a while. If we get 3 or 4 years down the road and Will Levis isn't any good and he's a bust, that's probably going to cost Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon their job. Like that's where they're at now with the Will Levis selection.
Right, and look, sometimes what happens is you get to a one pick that's especially bad or something, and it's like, okay, who really made the call? Or the other way, well, a pick that's really good. Okay, who had the brilliant idea? Who knew that Tyjae Spears was going to become the best back in the NFL, and that his knee was going to be just fine? Which one of you geniuses? You know what I mean? But right for now, I believe the collaboration. Like, I actually believe them. I take them at their word that it is collaboration. Yeah, I mean, the other commenter there was like, "Wow, Vrabel just wants somebody he can control." I don't think that's true either.
Also,
Carthon's in here.
Like, what are we talking about with Vrabel's reaction to the Levis pick? I mean, he looked pretty happy to me.
That. Yeah, well, someone on the text line's like, Vrabel wasn't disappointed. He had a big old grin, as Caroline Fenton said. I mean, my main thing I saw from the reaction was his call with Levis. And yeah, I mean, all right. Hey, Will, yeah, it's Vrabel. Yeah, I guess our guy. Okay, all right. We'll see you next week. Whatever, man.
Has a very just like kind of even keel face a lot. He's not just smiling ear to ear every second. And
except when he's in press conferences, he loves that.
When he sees Joe Rexrode.
Well, that's true. It lights up his whole life. Well, it's also, they did have the thing where they waved at the camera. Hey, you know, whatever that was.
I kind of did love that.
But yeah, the one time we have seen it, which is funny because I was like, I bet you the Titans tried to get that camera out of their room after last year. You saw the hand to the head, like, oh my God, walking away from the table when they traded AJ Brown. Now that was the proper reaction. I mean, Vrabel's presser after that was the exact same presser Vrabel has when he has an awful loss and has to grit his teeth and answer questions. The same exact thing. He was not disappointed in the Levis pick.
No. By the way, Mike Vrabel coming up at 10:15 today on Chase and Michelle. So looking forward to that conversation with Chase and Michelle.
Yeah. And Michelle, actually, please ask him that. Like, did you actually have any input at all? Did Rand allow you to speak in the room?
Have you been consulted in this process?
Was there duct tape? Was there duct tape over your mouth?
Yeah, you took the duct tape off and the cameras went on. Yeah.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by our friend John Glennon from the Nashville Post. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans, the drafting of Will Levis, and what his outlook is for this team in 2023. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
All the big plays.
Tannehill, entering right up the middle. Touchdown, Tennessee.
All the big stories.
The Titans' window to contend is however long Derrick Henry stays Derrick Henry.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Gets it back and scores.
Our execution was good. They have not found their groove. It's always great to win in this league. It's tough to win.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I what makes Melinda so good. That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor. Melinda's is proud to be the official hot sauce of the AT&T Byron Nelson. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. Find them in a grocery store near you at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Cromwell Media, the proud owner of this radio station, is recognizing 3 of our talented teammates in May. At 1029 The Buzz, part-time host Roman Haviland notches 11 years, and Chris Atticus, the Buzz brand manager and midday host, celebrates 3 years. Nick Frazier, part-time producer on 1025, 1063 The Game, passes his first year with us. We thank each of them for helping us make a difference every day. And by the way, we're always looking for new talent. Ping us at together@cromwellmedia.com and let's talk.
Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezvik. A busy night last night in the NBA playoffs. The Nuggets go up 2-0 on the Suns, winning 97-87. Jokic with 39 points and 16 rebounds. Headlining the Suns, Devin Booker with 35 points and 6 assists. And the 76ers take Game 1 against the Celtics. Joel Embiid did not play, but James Harden had a high of 45 points and 6 assists. The 76ers won 119-150. After only drafting one wide receiver in the NFL draft, Mike Vrabel spoke on Kyle Phillips and Racey McMath and what they can add to the team this year.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that'll be determined by the efforts they put in and Kyle's ability to come back and maintain some consistency that he had early on and through training camp. Racey knows that this is a critical point in his career, and he's got to continue to play and improve and be big and fast and help us and adjust to the football down the field and do some of the things that he did.
Coming up at 10:15 on Chase and Michelle, Mike Vrabel will join the show. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 1025, 1063 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Base.
Stoney Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Cranks it, he scores. On both sides of the one big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Tuesday morning. Talking Titans, and to help us do that, we go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend John Glennon from the Nashville Post. Johnny, good morning. First off, congrats on the new gig at the Nashville Post. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Robby. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on as well.
Absolutely. So, John, obviously a lot of discussion about the Titans draft over the last couple of days here on the show and the selection of Will Levis at the quarterback position at 33 overall. What did you make of the pick of Will Levis, and what does that pick kind of tell you about how they're viewing where this team is right now and kind of the trajectory of this franchise?
Yeah, the way I look at the Will Levis selection is to me, at some point you're going to have a franchise quarterback for the team. So, if you think you have one in your sights, you go get him. And clearly that's what the Titans think in this situation. But at the same time, in so doing, I think they surrendered a lot at helping themselves in the present, and the obvious position that comes up there is wide receiver. They missed out on a lot of wide receivers because of that trade. So to me, again, they're looking a little bit more towards the future because I don't think anybody expects Will Levis to be the starter right away. Everything's going to look great if Will Levis is a quarterback of the future, and they'll say, hey, I understand you guys had to go up and grab your quarterback of the future. Everyone has to have one. If he doesn't turn out well, everybody's going to be looking back even more so than they are doing right now and saying, hey, why didn't we get a wide receiver in the second round? Why didn't we get a wide receiver in the third round? And why did we end up with Will Levis, who's not necessarily our franchise quarterback?
And we've talked some today, John, about the idea of, well, you could. I mean, if you're, they're going to be decent this year, probably. I mean, I think the receiver room is a real problem. And I don't know how good the offensive line is. It's very different, and I could see a path to the offensive line being significantly better, but I have no idea. So if that's the reality for this team, I've heard some fans who have said, why not just see what you have in Levis, and, in the process, you may have a better pick next year. If you're looking at, I don't know, Marvin Harrison Jr., for example. Why not go that route if you're not going to be great anyway? You don't really have a chance. What say you? Do you think there's any consideration of that? Any chance of cutting Tannehill, for example, or trying to move him? I think trying to move him is a little different, but even just cutting him and saying, all right, Levis, let's see what you got. I mean, the Colts are going with Richardson this year, apparently.
Yeah, I don't see it. I just do not see it. I don't think anybody who's expecting, from all the, what we've seen from Will Levis, from all the scouting reports, there's a talented quarterback there, but it's a guy that's in need of refinement. A guy who could benefit from sitting, watching a veteran for a year. So I just don't see that strategy. I don't think Mike Vrabel is the kind of guy who says, yeah, let's go ahead and maybe we won't be good this year. No big deal. We'll play for 2024. I just don't see that happening. I think as much as they drafted Will Levis, for the future, I still think this team is going to be one that wants to win in the present. So I would be shocked. And I don't think it does Will Levis any good to be thrown out there, before he is ready. If you want to potentially ruin your franchise quarterback for the future, that seems like a pretty good strategy to me, to toss him in before he is ready to go against NFL opposition.
So, John, obviously, as the Titans would say, I'm aware that today is May the 2nd, and the season doesn't start until September, and there's time to do things here. But I do look at their wide receiver room right now, and you've now gone through the first wave of free agency and the NFL draft, and there's really nobody of consequence that you've added to the room. And you've got Traylon Burks and Kyle Phillips and NWI and Chris Moore and Racey McMath, basically, that are on your roster right now. What do you make of I guess, the current state of the wide receiver room? And if there's not any significant change to it, how difficult in your mind is it going to be for Ryan Tannehill to have an effective season given what he's working with?
Went on and on and on. The Titans weren't picking a wide receiver. I'm just thinking of Tannehill sitting there at home in his recliner going, when the hell am I going to be thrown to this year? Because it's absolutely accurate. To me, when the Titans went into that draft, there were two glaring needs on that football team. They addressed the first glaring need at number 11 in the first round. They picked who Peter Skoronski, who, by all accounts should be an excellent player or starter for a long time. The other glaring need, wide receiver, they addressed at pick 228, 217 picks later. So a stunner to me. I still think, every year, at this time of year, it looks like there's going to be nobody available, and that doesn't always pan out that way. Inevitably, there are casualties, cap cuts, that kind of thing. Even now, but before we move into the season, or depth charts start to get filled, younger guys look better, veterans get cut loose. So there will be some names, I think, that eventually come out there, between the start of training camp. How good are they going to be? I don't know. They're not going to revolutionize the franchise, but I think we'll see more recognizable name or two in the Titans wide receiver room before training camp starts. One that comes to mind, obviously, is Corey Davis, the former Titans wide receiver from the Jets. There is still, even now, a lot of speculation that because of the cap room, he can save the Jets, that he'll be cut eventually. And that would be a solid addition, a guy with experience, a guy who we know can catch passes in the NFL. So that kind of possibility is out there. But still, it leaves me really scratching my head, at the lack of wide receivers picked in the draft. And I think we go back to that, again, to that Will Levis trade. If the Titans had not made that trade, and I'm not necessarily saying it was terrible. I understand the need to get a potential franchise quarterback. But at the same time, you give up that 33rd pick by taking Will Levis. And if you had stayed at 42, right, and between the next time the Titans picked at 82, 7 receivers went off the board during that time, and some pretty good names also. Jaden Reed, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, Tank Dill, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a head scratcher, and right now the Titans wide receiver room obviously doesn't look too much better than it did before the draft.
Yeah, I'm sure Tannehill's really enjoyed the last 2 drafts. 3rd round, Malik Willis. 2nd round, Will Levis. No receivers. A.J. Brown traded. Yay! Yeah, I'm sure he's really had a heck of a time. So your favorite and least favorite pick for the Titans in this draft, John?
I love Skoronski. I thought, that was my idea going in the draft, that I thought the Titans had to prioritize the offensive line. I would have my mock guy was Paris Johnson. He wasn't there, but I think Skoronski is going to be outstanding. I got to love the fact that here's a guy who, the night of the draft, he wasn't out there, even though he was going to be a top 10, top 15 pick. No, where was he? He was in a Chicago pizzeria eating pizza and drinking beer. That's the kind of guy that the Titans like for the offensive line. So I think, they've got a starter either at left tackle or left guard there for a long time. I think that was an outstanding pick. The question mark certainly has to be Levis, because you don't look at him right now and say, boy, that guy is a guaranteed franchise quarterback to the future. I didn't think there were any awful picks. But again, when you look at the crop of 6 that they're bringing in, who's the only guy you can guarantee is going to make an immediate and big contribution? That would have to be Skoronski. You're going to get something from the running back. Tajay Spears is going to be complimentary back. Probably Josh Wiley is going to contribute some at tight end. But the other 3 guys are probably projects, not guys that are immediately going to help. And certainly only, as I say, Skoronski is the only one where you say that guy's going to be in the starting lineup.
John Glennon with us here on Robby and Rexrode.
Dowell's wide receiver too. I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. John, last thing for you here, and Taylor Lewan kind of put this out there this morning on his podcast, but talking about the fact that he has filed a lawsuit alleging that the doctors/entities who did his first ACL surgery in 2020 did it incorrectly. He's kind of been, hinting towards something like this for a while now on the podcast, but what do you make of that bit of news that Taylor Lewan shared this morning, and what do you make of kind of where he's at right now in the offseason of what his NFL future could look like?
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Taylor Lewan. On one hand, I'm sure if he wanted to, obviously he can say, the heck with my football career. I don't really need it. I'm making money probably hand over fist with bussing with the boys and everything else off the field that he's doing right now. But not necessarily stunned by his announcement this morning, because as you referenced, this is something that he has indicated before. That the injury in 2020 directly correlated to the injury in 2022, which may or may not have ended his career. You wonder, certainly if it has at this point, if he's not getting offers, and the first thought now is, medically, can he even play again at this point? So not a shocker that Taylor Lewan filed that lawsuit, nor is it shocking that Taylor Lewan felt the need to announce it on Twitter either. We're going to be we're going to be hearing and seeing Taylor Lewan for the next 10, 20 years, whether he plays another down of football or not, I think.
No question about that.
Hallelujah.
John Glennon, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. John, great stuff as always. Thanks for taking time to be with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
John Glennon from the Nashville Post, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on the Titans. We'll get into the Taylor Lewan situation that has come out this morning a little bit coming up next, and there's some questions that I have to Joe Rexrode about some former Volunteers and where they were drafted. We'll get into all that coming up in the next few minutes as well. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
185! Every team needs a quarterback.
185!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown!
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
She would do anything for you. She's your biggest fan. She's your mom. And mom turned upside down spells wow. So give her a day full of wows this Mother's Day, starting with an incredible gift from the Diamond Cellar. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. From classic diamond jewelry to luxury pieces from our world-class designers, we have the perfect gifts for every mom, stepmom, or grandmother. Show her how much you care with something she really wants, but would never buy herself. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar in Green Hills. The possibilities are endless.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report is in, and the Pella Windows and Doors brand is #1 for the most trusted, most often recommended by others, and highest quality. Nashville area homeowners are very lucky because Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of the top locations in the country. They provide award-winning excellence when it comes to craftsmanship and installation. If you need new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We are good to go. Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, helping home buyers and sellers in Middle Tennessee for 20 years. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning. Thanks to John Glennon from the Nashville Post for being with us in the last segment. So, Joe, we brought up some comments that Taylor Lewan made on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. He put out a clip earlier this morning on Twitter discussing something that we've kind of been wondering about and hearing from Lewan for a while now. Here's what Taylor Lewan had to say in regards to his 2020 torn ACL injury in the clip that he tweeted out this morning on his podcast.
I know we're a High Vibes podcast. I have to get a quick announcement out of the way. I'm in an unfortunate circumstance where I have had to file a lawsuit against the people and entities that are involved with my surgery from October of 2020. But I want to take this opportunity on this podcast to let all of you know what's kind of going on in my life. Fans that have followed my career, seeing those years before the ACL surgery and then obviously after the ACL surgery, kind of wondering, what the hell is happening with Lewan. But a lot of times there's areas for vulnerability, and I really wanted to make sure that I was able to share this with you guys, because for the last, since 2020, this has been It sucked. It's been tough, but I would love to sit here and vent and tell you for the next hour and a half how tough of a situation this has been, but the reality is I just can't right now. When I can, I will definitely share more when I'm able to, but like I said, we all know how lawyers work. Hopefully it all gets just figured out and it's all done and I can speak about it more because I like people to know what's going on with my career. I love it.
So that was Taylor Lewan in the clip he tweeted out this morning from the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. So, Joe, this is not necessarily, that's surprising. He's made some comments on the podcast before, talking about his surgery in 2020 coming off the torn ACL and kind of alluded to he didn't think that surgery was done correctly and how maybe that led to the torn ACL in 2022 as well. So not necessarily, I guess, surprising there, but what did you make of that clip from Lewan and his announcement this morning that he has filed a lawsuit against the doctors/entities who did his surgery in 2020 after tearing his ACL in October of that year?
Yeah, I figured this was coming at some point. He has hinted at it, and it's obviously just unfortunate that, for people who don't remember, he came back and, maybe he tried to come back too early, but the timeline seemed to be solid. And, of course, in 2021, it was – he was not ready. And then, of course, you have the tear. His constant kind of issues with it to another tear, last season that I don't know if it's ended his career or not. Actually, I know Kaharski has hinted at, another team possibly in Lewan's future, but it's too bad that it came down like this. Like he said, he had the lawyer comment there. I'll be surprised if we get play-by-play from Lewan on this, but he's at least made that clear. Someone asked on the text line, is this Titans related? I don't know in terms of like referrals or whatever, who did the surgery, but usually, that's an outside surgeon. So I don't know that I don't think this is directly related like to the Titans, but I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. The other part of this is, beyond just the lawsuit part, is he ready to play? Like, number one, does he want to play? Does he want to play in 2023? Number two, is his body in a place where it can physically hold up? He's talked about, the alleged botching of his surgery in October of 2020, maybe leading to what we saw with another torn ACL last season with the Titans. Has the ACL healed? Will the ACL be completely healed, and will he be ready to go in 2023? Is that a road that he even wants to go down at this point, given what he's doing with Bussin' with the Boys and the money that he's making doing that? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to those questions are, but, look, the part about Taylor Lewan that I think we don't discuss a whole lot. He's 31. It's not like he's 40 years old out there. He's a 31-year-old guy, and we've seen plenty of left tackles play well into their 30s in the NFL.
Yeah, and if he does heal correctly from this and it's all fixed, and I don't know how much the initial bad surgery, I guess, for lack of a better term, would influence that, but if it's right now, then yeah, I would think he would have more football left if he wants it. He's got a lucrative post-football career going. Seems to me like if there was an opportunity with a team that was actually a contender, that might be appealing to him to be a part of something like that. I've talked a lot about the idea of the Titans coming back and just trying to get him on a cheap deal this year. Seems like, with Dillard signed and now Skoronski, you got two young guys I think will compete at left tackle. Maybe not. Maybe Skoronski just goes right to guard, but seems unlikely that it would be here. So, but certainly if he is all right, then I would think there would be some interest for him out there.
Joe, didn't sound like John Glennon was a huge fan of the Will Levis decision at 33 overall. What'd you make of what John had to say about Will Levis and the decision to draft him and pass on some of these wideouts that could have been available?
Well, it's certainly a bad move in terms of the present. Again, the last 2 years, think of the players you could have gotten at 86 instead of Malik Willis, who could be right now very important, important football player for this team somewhere. And then this year, a receiver or something else that you could have gotten. Your current team, your current roster would be how much stronger if you made good choices just with those two picks. And, of course, you've also sacrificed next year's third now to get Levis after you sacrifice this year's fourth to get Julio Jones. So, look, I mean, in particular from the Tannehill perspective, trade A.J. Brown, draft 2 quarterbacks. You know, you draft Treylon Burks, but then this year you wait till the 7th round and take a flyer on, UT Martin receiver, who I think it could be a nice pickup, but if you're Tannehill, you got to be just wondering, I mean, it's like be great. You got to be great around Ryan Tannehill was the talk from Vrabel after the loss of the Bengals.
Yeah.
And they have not done that. They have not made moves to do that. They've made moves to try to move on from Tannehill. But Glennon, whatever anybody thinks about Levis, if he turns out to be a great quarterback, then all of that doesn't matter, right?
Right. Now, the question I have in the immediate part of this, let's assume that Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback. The receiving core is basically what it is now. But let's also assume, for the sake of this discussion, that the moves that they've made on the offensive line work, and that Dillard is a good left tackle. Skoronski comes in and plays guard immediately and is really good. You know, you got Brewer at center, Brunskill at right guard. Petit Frere takes a step forward in year 2 at right tackle. Let's say we get through training camp and into next season, and it becomes apparent that the Titans have a solid offensive line. What does that mean for Tannehill in terms of you still don't have great weapons on the outside? We'll see what happens with Treylon Burks, but how much could simply just being protected better help him in his numbers and the Titans' ability to win and move the ball next year?
It's a great question. If you have best case scenario with this offensive line, then pair that with Burks actually starting to look like where he was drafted to be. Chig building on last year. I mean, NWI still, he can catch the ball. Throw the ball to 15. He'll catch the ball for you.
Flea flicker.
Pepper him.
No, I mean Tannehill just being upright alone. And if the offensive line is good enough that you have also, like, Derrick Henry doesn't have to grind at, like almost a yard a carry less to get to the 1,500 yards, Yeah, I mean, that could still be – that could certainly be a better offense. If you go from arguably worst offensive line in the NFL to, like, middle of the pack, fine offensive line, that is a big difference. There's no doubt.
Yeah, like I'm – how much of last year's struggles with the offense were traced back to just Tannehill not having enough time? Like we talked about, obviously Robert Woods was not very good last year. Treylon Burks was inconsistent and unavailable for half the season. So there's that part of it with wide receivers that are still a gigantic question mark heading into this year. I'm not saying they're not. But how much of the struggles offensively last year were simply that every time the quarterback dropped back to pass, he had about a second and a half before somebody was turnstiling Dennis Daly and into the back of his shoulder pads back there. Like, if that changes this year, how much different does the offense look?
Yeah, that's where they start. That's where everything starts. And just going from what Daly did to, again, middle of the pack, decent, fine, is a huge difference.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, what do we make of Hendon Hooker and his fit with the Detroit Lions and some other former Vols that were on the move in the NFL draft as well? We'll get into all that, their fits with their new teams. Take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The NFL offseason is in full swing, but you'll never miss any of the big news. Thanks to Yahoo's Charles Robinson.
They know that there's a chance that they're going to have to deal this guy.
He's one of the best insiders there is.
All of a sudden, he becomes a functional player who we thought was just trash.
Join Charles Robinson every Thursday morning at 8 on Robby and Rexrode, presented by the NFL Alumni Association on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Michelle Knezvik here for Superbook Sports. Baseball's back and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. A lot of great second-round matchups last night. We saw the 76ers take down the Celtics. The Nuggets are now up 2-0, but my favorite game I've been looking forward to all week, we have got the Warriors and the Lakers. Steph Curry is 15-7 against LeBron James in the postseason. Just want to throw that out there. But in this series, I think the Lakers do take game one. I'm taking them on the money line plus 165. They had a little bit more rest after the Warriors went to Game 7 with the Kings. So I'm going to take the Lakers plus the 4.5. Also going to take them on the money line plus the 165. But I think that the Golden State Warriors are coming out of this series. And you should do it all on Superbook Sports. It's my official sports book, and it's the best wagering app around with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in Las Vegas. Plus, you can get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day. So don't let spring pass you by without winning money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound, the sound of NASCAR.
Start your engine!
The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets for the triple header weekend, including the Ally 400, Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200 today.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days. And a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hi, I'm Jamie Whistles for Souls, a global nonprofit based in Nashville that provides shoes and clothing to people across the world. We're joining forces with 1025 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament on June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. A portion of the proceeds from the tournament will provide new shoes to children experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. I hope you'll join us for an afternoon of fellowship and fun, all in support of a great cause. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
EasyCater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backup singers. So right before this important meeting, I get a text from EasyCater that the restaurant lost power. No electricity. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She said sarcastically. But EasyCater was like, don't worry. No sweat.
They got another restaurant to fill the whole order.
The whole order.
And I was like, are you kidding me? But in a good way.
Inflection is everything.
Problem with your order? EasyCater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants.
EasyCater.
Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com.
We got your back.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, Nashville? This is Stephen A. Smith. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Joe, you gave out your winners and losers of the NFL Draft earlier. The Detroit Lions, a loser of the 2023 NFL Draft in your mind, but they did select Hendon Hooker, quarterback out of Tennessee, at number 68 overall. What do you think of that fit for Hooker? Obviously, he slid down a little further than most people had him going in the NFL Draft, slid down to the third round, 68 overall, and ends up with Detroit. What do you make of that fit for Hooker as he prepares to join up with Jared Goff and the Lions?
Well, first of all, anyone going to the Detroit Lions, as anybody who listens to this show at all knows, I immediately feel sympathy for, feel bad for, and feel like the outcome will be negative relative to other potential landing spots in the NFL. Is this fair when it's a different GM and head coach right now, just in the last couple of years than they had previously? Probably not. But I feel like getting lionized is a real thing. Now, and that relates to ownership. If you have bad ownership, like really, truly bad ownership, which is what the Lions have had, then that does happen, right?
Yeah.
That said, here's what I like about it is that I think the Lions have a really good OC right now. I think he's going to be a hit. The problem is he's not going to be there by the time Hendon Hooker is ready to start, but I think that can be a good thing this year for Hendon Hooker. Ben Johnson is a guy who, to me, if you watched any Lions football last year, and begrudgingly I watched a little bit, he's good. He's really good, and I think he's going to be a head coach. He had some looks this year. The Lions signed him to a bigger deal to keep him. You look at what Jared Goff has done in kind of rejuvenating his career with the Lions. I have to give this guy some credit. I have to give the Lions coaching some credit for, one, the design and the schematics of the offense, but also for Goff's performance in particular. So I think this year it is good for Hendon Hooker as he heals. There's no pressure. You wanted him to go to a situation where there was going to be no screens for Hendon Hooker, because especially with the ACL. I think I'm with Glennon. I'm a big fan of the rookie quarterback sitting. I don't think it's a great idea for Houston and Indy to have Stroud and Richardson start from day one. We'll see how it goes. You take some lumps and maybe you learn from it and get better from it. But I like the idea of having some time, and Hooker's going to have time. And I think this year, with Ben Johnson there, that'll be good for him. After that, they're going to lose Ben Johnson, especially if they're actually good this year and they actually win the NFC North. He's going to be a head coach next year, and then that's the question, is who's next after that. But I do like this rookie year and what it will do for him.
So it's interesting because I look at where Hendon Hooker went, and by the way, there was quite the run on Tennessee players from 68 to 77. In the span of 9 picks, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, and Byron Young all got drafted from 68 to 77 over the weekend. So a nice run on Tennessee players there. But I think it's fair to say that Hendon Hooker slid a little bit further down than we thought he would, and Jalen Hyatt slid a little bit further down than we thought he would. Tillman was right about where I think most people had him. I mean, some people had him going a little bit higher, maybe into the second round, but I don't know that I would consider Tillman a quote-unquote slide. But with Hooker and Hyatt kind of sliding down, and Michael's brought it up on the text line, says, could this draft hurt Tennessee's recruiting efforts after recruits see how far Hooker, Hyatt, and Tillman slid in the draft? Apparently NFL teams don't like Heupel's system. This from Michael on the text line. How surprised were you of Hooker and Hyatt in particular sliding as far as they did?
Yeah, well, yeah, look, I thought Tillman was a second-round pick too, so I'm surprised. I would not have guessed Hooker in the third round at all. And, yeah, all of them. I thought all those guys really, if you forced me to predict, Tillman and Hyatt in the second round, Hooker late in the first, as we talked about a lot going in the draft. Does it hurt? Let me tell you, let me promise you something. The other coaches in the SEC and other programs who are vying with Tennessee especially for offensive skill positions, I promise you they are mentioning, look at this. You got the Heisman winner as of early November or late October, arguably, certainly top 5-6 player in college football, and he goes third round. Why? Come to our place. We don't do this stuff that doesn't translate to the NFL. We translate to the NFL. We get people ready for the NFL. Yes, people will use it. Now, and so I thought, hey, it would be huge to quiet that for a Hooker to go, in the first round. But now you do have, a year from now, you have Joe Milton. How does he play? How is he evaluated? Is it any better with him? Look, I honestly believe Joe Milton could be. I'm looking right now at another mock draft as I speak, because of course Dane Brugler. Please get a nap tomorrow, Dane. But Dane Brugler has his 2024 mock out. Everybody.
Oh yeah, let's get back into it.
Let's do those 2024 mocks, and I'm looking to see if he has my projected number 1 overall pick, Joe Milton, in the first round. Does not. But so then you have that. You have other receivers who are coming out who I think, I think can be high picks. And you have Nico after that. But you need one of these guys. And even if it's like, Matt Corral's a total afterthought, like Matt Corral to go somewhere, man. Like you need someone some quarterback from the Brile system to be good in the NFL. There's one season of it, which is RG3 as a rookie. And it's hard to draw much from that. Of course, he played with the hurt knee, really hurt the knee, but also even when he got back, Cousins eventually overtook him, and you need that to happen to shut this up. Because whether you like it or not, other coaches are going to absolutely. Mark Stoops, who runs a pro style offense, he's telling every recruit he can call, look at this Tennessee offense. Why do you want to go there? Yeah, you'll score points and have fun, but the NFL doesn't like it.
Well, that's the interesting part of it to me is quarterback, though, like with Hooker. Michael brings up Tillman and Hyatt sliding, and I get it. Like they went a little bit later than other people thought they would go. But to me, though, I think receiver matters less in this discussion. Like Cedric Tillman, right? He can run all the routes. That's what you're looking for. How physical are they? What's the speed that they bring to the table? Can they run the routes? All those things at wide receiver. I think the Tennessee offense is way less of a big deal for receiver than it is quarterback. And they need Hendon Hooker to silence some of this stuff. Josh Heupel needs Hendon Hooker to go on and have a good career in the NFL.
Right. No, I agree. Now, I think with Hyatt in particular, it did hurt him because, again, if you're a college football coach, you're trying to win, man. And so this scheme put him in a bunch of situations where there's no way to bump him, no way to press him, and he gets matched up with safeties a lot. So, okay, sorry, I'm going to take my touchdowns where he's 10 yards open downfield. Right. It's a great scheme. But that was the knock on him, was that he hasn't had to deal with that, with really any physical stuff at the line of scrimmage, and he had the routes he ran were kind of limited. So I agree with you, though. I think Tillman projects as, Tillman is a more well-rounded player. And it's still important for Hyatt, Tillman, either of them, both of them, to do things as a rookie, to be like, say, shut them up. But you're right. It's much more a quarterback discussion. If you're talented enough at receiver, there's going to be receivers that come out of this offense, do well in the NFL. And I think there's going to be quarterbacks too, okay? But you'd like that sooner rather than later if you're Josh Heupel, because people are going to use this against him.
Real quickly, Joe, what do you make of the landing spots? Hyatt with the New York Giants, Cedric Tillman ends up in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and the Browns, and then Byron Young with the Rams. That one could be pretty intriguing with Byron Young.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like Byron Young a lot. You think about the limited football he's had at a high level and how much he grew in a short period of time at Tennessee. And obviously Tennessee has a fantastic coach in Ronnie Garner. And that's the flip side of this is, guys, if you're a recruit looking at Tennessee right now at that position, at the edge or D-line, yeah, there's going to be more pros coming out of there too. But he's the intangibles of Byron Young are off the charts. And so good for him to go that high. And I think he's going to make an impact with them.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get back into the Titans and the NFL draft. Take your thoughts on that. We'll take a look at some playoff action in the NBA and the NHL as well. All that coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When it comes to Nashville sports,
locking up Jeffrey Simmons, clearly that was a priority for them.
He knows his stuff.
A little bit good, a little bit bad.
And knows how to push the right buttons.
He's coming off an ACL tear, and he's 25 years old, so you cannot ignore that.
Join Outkick's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company. Withrow.
What I hate more than anything is people that are phony and not true to themselves.
Is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Robby Stanley here. It's time for the NBA playoffs, and you can get in on the action right from the first tip with FanDuel. Right now, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend when you bet the NBA playoffs. That's right. Just place a 3+ leg same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus on any NBA playoff game, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. The Miami Heat up 1-0 against the Knicks. I like the Heat in this series, and I like Jimmy Butler over on points in Game 2. But you can take it any way you want to take it. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than on America's #1 sportsbook. You can visit FanDuel.com/Rob and get a no-sweat same-game parlay every single weekend of the NBA playoffs. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/Rob. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
The greatest American rock and roll band in history, Aerosmith, present Peace Out, the farewell tour. Aerosmith, with special guests the Black Crowes. Bridgestone Arena, January 10th, 2024. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Aerosmith with the Black Crowes, the farewell tour. Peace out.
A show that lives and breathes sports.
Focus in, focus in, focus in.
From the SEC.
Credit to the Alabamas, the Georgias, and the Ohio States of the world.
To the Preds.
They've been in a lot of really tight games, but they're not winning enough of them.
To the Titans.
He's talking about what this franchise has built over the years.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace.
What is this? Check it out.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Tuesday morning. Speaking of Michelle, make sure you tune in for Chase and Michelle at 10:15. Mike Vrabel joining the program. Michelle had no idea where I was going.
I was like, whoa, what are we saying right now?
Mike Vrabel joining the show at 10:15. Looking forward to that conversation with him. He said at the end of his radio interview with us like a year and a half ago, Joe, that probably not. He was not coming back on. So he's choosing to go on Chase Michelle. I like it.
As long as he doesn't have to talk to us, he's cool.
Looking forward to that coming up at 10:15. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, the NFL draft, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Obviously, Joe, this is going to be a long discussion on the Will Levis front as we get ready for the Titan season. But just kind of putting a bow on our conversation from earlier today, your thoughts on where the Titans stand now from Will Levis and how much, not even really what you would do, but what you think they will do in terms of the consideration that they may give to Will Levis being the starting quarterback in 2023? What do you think that looks like?
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to consider throwing him to the Wolves this year. I don't. I think that Tannehill's going to be the starting quarterback. It's just, look, first of all, there is some urgency. I understand the lack of receiver picks would lead you to question this, but there is some urgency to be at least competitive this year, I think, for a coach who just lost 7 straight games. And so I think they're going to try to make an addition one way or another at receiver. Could be a trade. Could be someone they sign. And you got to hope some of the existing guys on the roster are better. And I think that in the building, they don't look at this team as terrible. Now, that brings me to the rabbit hole I just went down during the break.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not going to tell you, the Dane Brugler 2024 mock draft. I'm not going to give too much away. But I'd like you to guess where Dane Brugler has the Tennessee Titans selecting in the 2024 NFL draft.
I will just take a random guess and say at number 7 overall.
9.
You're not far. Number 5.
Wow. Okay.
Dane Brugler doesn't think too much of the 2023 Tennessee Titans based on his mock draft. Also, some other interesting things from this mock draft. My gosh, Ohio State and Alabama. Apparently they have good teams this year.
Oh, good.
But then I went down the rabbit hole, by the way, of, you know what? I need to go back and look at Dane Brugler's 2020, the same exact time a year ago.
Yeah.
And what he had. And I want you to guess who Dane Brugler had the Titans selecting in his 2023 mock draft that he came out with a year ago.
Will Levis.
Ding, ding, ding. No?
That's your guess, too?
Yeah.
I like that guess. But no, at 18, Tennessee Titans, Peter Skoronski. Northwestern.
Nailed it.
How about that? Other items of interest. His top 3, Stroud to the Texans, Bryce Young to the Lions. See, I'm with you. I thought they'd suck too. Will Anderson, 3 to the Jets. I'll keep going. Keely Ringo, number 4 overall to the Jags.
That
I
did
thought
not
the
quite
Jags
happen.
would be terrible. That did not quite happen. And number 5, Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith, Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky.
Jeez. Good stuff.
How about that? I mean, you go through, it's interesting. A lot of his mock draft from a year ago, like Smith and Jigba, Breesy, Nolan Smith, Mayer, a lot of, Paris Johnson. I mean, a lot of guys you'd expect. But also interesting, like, here's a guy, Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback from Miami, going 7 overall.
Yeah.
The quarterback thing, Butte also in the first round, which I thought was like interesting, but like a lot of people thought that a year ago, right? Tanner McKee going in the first round as well as a quarterback out of Stanford. It's really interesting. The quarterback, he's got a few quarterbacks in this year's draft too. No Joe Milton. It'll be interesting a year from now as we look back and say, wow, Dane, how did you not have Joe Milton going in the first round of that 2024 mock?
Yeah. Well, look, there's always quarterbacks that just kind of come out of nowhere. Like, how many people this time last year thought Anthony Richardson was going 4 overall? Probably not very many people. So how many people?
He was not in his mock.
He was not in his
mock. Yeah.
So there's always quarterbacks that kind of pop up out of nowhere throughout the course of a college football season that end up in the first round discussion. It does feel like there are maybe more candidates for that than usual from next year. Like, even like a JJ McCarthy out of Michigan. Like,
yes.
He's
in there.
Oh, is he? He's like, there's all sorts of options at quarterback next year that I'm really fascinated to see how many of these guys that we think could be pretty good and go pretty high in the NFL draft actually end up doing that next year in 2024.
Yeah, so I don't want to give too much away, but to your point there, okay, obviously Williams and May very high. This is what anybody would expect. Other first-round projected quarterbacks at this point. Quinn Ewers.
Okay, yeah.
How about that one? I mean, I can see it. J.J. McCarthy. Okay.
What about Spencer Rattler?
Michael Penix Jr., who, again, like, personally, he was really good for Washington last year. I watched him quite a bit in Indiana. I don't think he's a first-round quarterback, but you're going to see that. I'm not sure on your question. It's a good question, Michelle. No, not in this first round, but that's another guy. And look, and I mean, Milton is absolutely a guy who, and I've actually talked with Dane some about this, because in fact, I asked him the question and he's like, I mean, the talent's certainly there. Like, does he find consistency this year? If he does, and he puts up numbers and they win, again, the system, we know what it is. I mean, it works against the quarterback right now. It does. But there's also a huge difference. If Milton produces and leads and does all those things, there's a huge difference in his physical talent and Hendon Hooker's. There just is.
Yeah, I mean, when somebody goes to Joe Milton's combine workout and he throws 320 yards on a rope, they'll probably fall in love with that a little bit more than they do Hendon Hooker's. Just saying.
You're like, wow, you can throw crossing patterns with Joe Milton from your own 20 into the red zone. That's amazing.
We're going to run a 60-yard crossing route. Be ready for that one. Game 2 tonight between the Heat and the Knicks in the NBA, and the Lakers and the Warriors getting underway tonight, Joe Rexrode. Could be a late night for you, but looking forward to that series.
It is. There must be a nap today because there's not 1 second of that series that I will not take in with my own eyeballs.
Same.
Game 1 tonight in the second round for the NHL playoffs. Florida taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Seattle and Dallas tonight. So some new blood all throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs in round 2. You love to see it.
I'm here for Leafs Oilers. I'm here. I'm here now that the Rangers are out. I'm here for Leafs Oilers.
The numbers would be horrible here in America in terms of like the ratings because nobody would really care. But McDavid, Matthews, the star power, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, Canada would shut down.
Yeah, yes, it would. That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. By the way, apparently Jordan Love have just reached a new deal with the Packers. So interesting there. We'll get into that coming up tomorrow as well. Chase and Michelle coming up next. Mike Vrabel joining the show at 10:15. So looking forward to that. This is 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
And I was under on my mutes.
Every day we are live and local.
Most people pick them to make the playoffs before the season